splash damage on high. I don't think you have to damage the Ana on high. Oh, man. So, I did not watch this match. I was busy at the time. I caught about half the matches this past weekend, maybe a little bit more. I heard it was a good one. Spoilers. I'm about to spoil this match. If you haven't seen it yet, I'm going to spoil it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, Mayhem won. They're going to Korea. You don't know that you're living under a rock. Gladiators lose. Gladiators have looked like yay over the course of this season, and that continued here. They looked terrible last week, and they looked also amazing last week, and that continued. I think this match being one of their better matches. DANTEH had issues from what I know. Florida Mayhem had issues from what I know. Let's take a look here. Okay.
Those dives and clean initiation.
Now, I'm not going to talk as in detail about the Moira stuff. I will give you a brief rundown, just like Mayhem will give you a brief rundown. Haha, get it the call. Basically, it's just 3, 2, 1. We run you over. We look for your VAP. We look for your Hanzo or your Mei. This composition is why we saw the Orisa earlier. I talked about that not only a little bit on stream, but also talked about that in the review I posted on YouTube yesterday. Yeah, so the question here is this composition going to be able to close the distance quickly with this composition and either stuff them in a choke, denying them sightlines, or finding ways to get onto uno, dos, or tres? Theoretically, you could get the Ramattra as well, but the problem is that Ramattra is very hard and slow to kill, so not the greatest target here.
I mean, we've seen just how much work
so you can see them immediately going. They might even push into the choke. They do push into the choke. The wall is good, so they are going to deny the 3-2-1, run it down mid. And that's really what Gladiators want. But they did force the ice block. They did finish the kill, so yeah, there you go. This is like one of the things where, like, I don't know if the Mayhem's composition is better on this map. We haven't seen this composition in this mirror tested. Mayhem kind of came up with it, and they're the ones executing it really, really well. So I think it remains to be seen if the Gladiators comp is played better, if it functions better. You will notice that Kevster's on the Sojourn rather than the Hanzo. That's probably because of what the Mayhem are running. It's harder to lock down the Sojourn, and she still does viable tank damage. It's a great angle from the Sojourn. That's exactly what you need to do. And they're able to peel off the engage, and then we're going to call rubber band effect, right? So Mayhem goes in for the hard push. They get it denied. DANTEH lives healthily. Kevster takes an angle, and even though he doesn't get a kill, he forces Reaper Wraith, which means Merit's completely out of this fight, so Mayhem have to back up. And then now Gladiators are walking forward, taking space. Rubber band effect. You use all your cooldowns, you don't get value. The composition that still has cooldowns available or better poke damage then snaps back and hits you in the mouth. So that was Mayhem's opportunity. They don't get it. Merit doesn't have his Wraith, and then he's exposed and dies. Yaki does die very quickly as a result. I don't know what happens, and they get the coal back faster. So I don't know how Yaki died there, but Glad's played that fight really well. They catch Astro. DANTEH gets walled off and dies as well. Kevster's freaking deadlifting on the angle. I really like Kevster's positioning here. He's doing the exact right thing. This is how you beat this composition. This is what Shock were not doing very well, consistently anyway. And ironically, what Mayhem were not doing to Shock, running their variation of the same composition. Because remember, Mayhem versus Shock rolled out on this and did the equivalent of this, but except with an Orisa. And Mayhem looked totally lost. But Glads are executing this one really well. I don't know why Kevster dies. He needs to take... Wait, no, Kevster doesn't die. Who dies? Oh, Lasser just trolls. Like, Lasser just straight up trolls. I'm not going to lie. That's a complete feed. That fight was in the bag, and that's completely thrown out. That one hurts.
They weren't able to get nearly as much done as they would have liked there, and it was just the coalescence. The Florida Mayhem were able
I remember playing versus Lastro and Chicken Contendies in Goats days, and he was a holy terror in Ana Goats when every team was running Zen Goats. They would go Ana Sombra Goats, and the guy had all the Sky nades, and they would time an EMP nade, and we'd die every time. It was so annoying. I hated playing versus Lastro. Sojourn angle, there's an early wall. DANTEH's just going to block, and then he's going to change that into his ultimate. Kevster pops his ult. It's going to be a counter ult from Showwrong and a beat. The beat is countered as well. The Blizzard needs to be there. The Blizzard is there. It's fat. It's exactly what they need to do. They catch the push. pretty darn good. I'm telling you guys, the Glads are looking pretty good in playing versus this. If they're only able to clean this out, that's the problem. Because a lot of these fights, it's just like, for example, Yaki just freaking dies for no reason. Lastro feats, freaking dies, no reason. That fight right there, I don't know who dies here. Dante? Dante doesn't get, Dante does get beat. Where is Dante? Does he get frozen? I don't know why Lastro doesn't have LOS on him. I don't even know where Lastro is. Maybe it's an individual feed, but like, Glads really responded this well. Maybe the beat was too early. I think the beat might have been too early from Astro here. So there's, yeah, the beat is too early. They could have greeted that one at least a few seconds longer. And then the lamp is also used at the same time. So a bit of the sussers box from the Gladiators support line maybe there. But again, man, it just feels like Glads are just unable to close this one out. And then they bounce back with the next ultimate, and it's such a shame because I do think Kevster's played this one really, really, really well. I think you can't blame this one on Kevster whatsoever. I mean, that's a huge surprise, right? Like, Kevster plays well. Shocker, ladies and gentlemen. But that's such a shame because Glads, not just, you know, Kevster, but I also think the Glads as a whole at least had a reasonable idea of how to play this matchup. There's just mechanical errors from the backline in particular. And just a couple random deaths really put them in a hole. Yeah. So Glads knew how to play the matchup. They just mechanical goof ups. That happens. Okay, so here, I mean, this one we've talked about this matchup before, but basically it's just like hard mark the off angles, try to mark the Sombra Tracer, try to keep as much pressure on the Winston as you possibly can. Now, you're going to probably wonder, why does the Winston comp not roll out to this? Don't they want to dive them here? The problem is that if you roll out immediately here, your Sombra and Tracer do not have time to set up off angles to dive, so then you actually lose the frontline versus frontline trade versus the Queen. And by the way, this is old patch, just so everybody knows. So, this is good too because you're going to deny the onto the high ground for the nades. So I think for Gladiators, it's about, obviously you have to be careful about nades, but you do want to try and aggressively look for angles with Kevster, bait dives onto Kevster, and as long as he doesn't get naded or hacked, he should be good. If Tracer pressures him, he's fine. If Sombra pressures him without hack, he's fine. If Winston dives him, he's fine. So Kevster needs to ego, and to a lesser extent, Dante also needs to ego and hopefully not get hacked and naded, same logic, and to try and put pressure onto someone's here. So I do like Mayhem's comp a little bit better on this map, but I think it's not unintelligent for Gladiators to try and to do this instead, because you're not going to try and mirror these guys in Winston Sombra Tracer in this map. I think you need to try and mix the tables up. You know what I'm saying? So, and they get high ground too. So they might be able to get point pressure with Yaki, with Sojourn on the high ground. Will Mayhem try to contest the high ground from a flank nade? I don't know. No, they're going to try and rush, it looks like. The on a brick is rushable. It's just not very consistent to rush it because you might get off angle by Sombra Tracer while you're doing it. So they might have actually tried to bait a push and then bait the dive. And you can see the problem with the dive right now, right? The timing from these guys is good, but the backline is rotating away because they're scared of being rushed. So this is actually a 5 versus 3, and this is exactly what Gladiators want. You can easily force out Sombra, you can easily force out Tracer, you can easily force out Winston, and then maybe afterwards look for the backline afterwards. So you're kind of like, through the threat of the rush, they actually desync the dive there. And so there's the Sombra's out, the Tracer gets cleared out. Are we going to get any pressure on someone? Someone goes back in, but the Sombra's out, and they catch Kevster on the rotation. I don't... He gets naded, that's what happens. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's what we talked about, right? Like, you need your Sojourn to play an off angle like that, but he can't get naded. He can't get naded. Which is, you know, easier said than done. It's more of a skill check on the Ana than anything else. It's a nice sleep dart. It's going to put Dante in the back foot. He does not have shout yet. There is the shout, actually. Okay, I lied. They do trade on someone, though, so that's good. Fight's devolving. Kevster is not there yet. There's another manual hack on a Dante. They're going to try and pressure off of that. There's the nade as well. He's able to survive. I think that was Suzu used there, and then they're going to be able to rush down the on a break afterwards. I don't know if shout was used there, and there's a big mechanical play from Kevster. So, really, Gladiators, obviously, they lose their Sojourn, but they're able to trade the Winston at the same time, and they do a really, really good job of keeping pressure on Mayhem, being able to survive those nade on a cooldown cycles and then pushing afterwards. From Mayhem's side of things, I'm not sure what Chorong was able to do. Like, you would like to see better, like, you don't want to see the backline from Mayhem fold that easily. You need to see your whip shot, your defensive shield bash, your sleep dart, and so on used better. And I also don't know how someone died in the trade there when Sojourn was already dead. You don't love to see that.
And look at this. Look how long they're taking now as well. Trying to figure out whether
Okay, so they're going to try and stage the dive again. Nano and Pulse Bomb might be used on high ground here. It remains to be seen. There is a spy check. They're not going to even Nano. They're just going to jump up top. That's going to force a little bit of a rotation. That does force Shout as well. Check this one out. So they're all on high. Winston jumps. A little bit of a panic. There's the Shout. But nothing happens. So this pulse needs to hit. It doesn't hit. There's the push from Dante. Now, here's the funny part, guys. Look at this. The tank here is actually Tracer. Watch this. And this is important. Remember we always talk about Tracer should go second. Tracer should go second. You know, if Tracer goes second here, if Yaki goes second here, he probably hits this pulse bomb because they're not paying attention to him. It's probably easier to hit. But because he goes first, look at Anna and Brick. They're all peeling on him. They're not thinking about Junker Queen. And Dante's just like, what is the I'm gonna find the meme. Undertaker. This is Dante right here. Like this is Dante. This is the Anna Brig backline right here. And this is just Dante. Dante's just like, you know, what's up, y'all? Like, he's just like, while the Tracer's distracting, they've created this window where Dante just honestly just sneaks up right on top of him. And like, honestly, like, considering that Dante's on Queen, that's a pretty big deal. So anyway, okay. Sorry, that was my joke for the day. Anyway, yeah, long story short, they were able to get another Chorong. They forces the Nano out. He hits the knife. The nade is there, though. There's the Suzu. Is he gonna be able to? Oh, like, it's Gladiators are like on the cusp of greatness. Like, they're always so close. The Suzu is there. It's good, but they don't get the Curie ult in time. The responsive rally is fat. The stun and Astro kills him. They do commit the Queen ult though, but Chorong shouldn't die here. Although they are stalling things out, the EMP is committed as well. I don't think Gladiators are too unhappy with that trade. It could have been a lot uglier. Obviously, you want that pulse bomb to hit. Like, you know, I think you gotta be unhappy with that. But it does cost a lot from Mayhem, and they do get the flip eventually. So, okay.
Now that they've been able to get the control of the point as well, they can get set up either aggressively towards main.
So the big one here is Kevster's ult. Obviously, beat is beat. You know, beat for peel, whatever. But someone is going to primal Kevster's ult. This is a Owl Grand Finals play, right? Where you go overclock into primal rage. The advantage should be on the primal, but it does require a decent level of execution. So is Kevster, they're gonna hit them early. They're gonna kamikaze. RuPaul is just gonna kamikaze. Like, look at my guy. They really want Kevster dead, and not only Kevster, they might actually be going for Astro here. Okay, so I think Mayhem realizes that this fight they don't have the advantage, and they just want to roll the dice. So it looks like they're trying to Ajax, but I think they missed the nade. He hits the sleep dart, but RuPaul's just dead. Yeah. Chorong gets isolated as well, and he's gonna die. The beat does come out, but somehow RuPaul lives. He gets Dante off the map, so the coast side fight is really important. Kevster might not even need to ult this. Oh, he does get naded. Ah, great peel. Astro! Oh my gosh, he lives. Yeah, so Mayhem fumbled the bag there. The play for Mayhem wasn't bad, but RuPaul really needs to hit that nade. That like explosion on that rotation was just not there at all. I think the play itself was reasonable enough, but like, wow, Mayhem really do not execute well there. Checkmate is stalling for about 6 years, so but yeah, okay. Did they knife him? No way they knifed him. No way they knifed him. Oh, you're right. Holy crap, what a play from Dante. So there's the knife right there. Right there. He gets pulled off. But then again, like I said though, so even though the knife is the main thing there, the problem there is there's no nade. There's no nade on that rotation. Good catch. So I don't know if he was fishing for it earlier, Like, it looks like here that he doesn't even have nade available. It looks like right there is a nade. Yeah, right there is a nade. And he missed it. Oh, man. You gotta hit that. You gotta hit that. So, yeah. Okay, good catch. It is crazy that RuPaul survives. I mean, Chorong dying, like, fell off, and that kind of became the priority. Okay.
Sojourn the difference maker. I mean, I guess it's pretty elementary that it can punish a Reaper-based composition.
So that wasn't actually the game plan. I think Mayhem were actually looking to play that one a little bit slower, but yeah. Fun fight plan from Gladiators here. This ultimate is better in open space, so why not just take the fight out in open space? You know, this is going to end up basically being last fight anyway, so why play fair? I like this from Glads. As long as he doesn't get naded, he's good to go. There's the nano, there's the peel, very good disengage. You can still get a kill on a squishy here. You love to see it, right? 1 for 1, and you had the opportunity to actually get a kill there. That's fine. Kiriko ult, 3, 2. You really want Kevster in the Kiriko ult.
When Lastro is ready with this Kitsune rush, no matter how the Florida Mayhem approach, you can just lay that down.
Kitsune rush here, gonna be huge. DANTEH caught you that EMP.
So they use the Kitsune rush as a counter. I think that's a huge mistake. Here's what I think. You need to use the Kitsune rush now. Now, I know the concern is that the EMP is going to come out and cancel it. So maybe that's why he's waiting. I don't know, guys. Like, you can't wait for them to set this up. Because if you wait for them to set this up, if they set up the perfect nade EMP, your Kitsune Rush isn't going to counter that. EMP does not cancel Rush unless it's during the cast. That's the only downside here. So what I would like to see is maybe here's what I would like to see. Speed me, give me a little bit of speed, and then like rush into them. Or just rotate to the left and rush. Try to basically juke or break the Sombra's legs by rotating away from where she's likely set up so that she's not able to EMP immediately. But you like, who uses the Kitsune? Junker Queen, Tracer, Kiriko. The Sojourn might need to dodge it because she doesn't want to be in the middle of the EMP. But get early, like this guy needs to be here, HP wise, right now. Now, it has to be now. You need to force bubble now. Even if it's like the Tracer touching, right? Like you need to get the pressure out now. Because if you have an active Kitsune rush on point and you are taking aggressive angles, you will get a lot of damage out there. You will get a lot of, you will force cooldowns. I don't think you should wait for the MP. I don't think you should wait. So I have no idea what he Suzu's, honestly. Yo, what is he Suzu here? What? So I don't like the Kitsune rush, and this is the thing. They don't even use the Kitsune rush because they're hiding from EMP. So like, what's the point? Like, this is just terrible. Like, this is a terrible Suzu, terrible Kitsune rush, and then obviously having a Suzu now would be fight winning, right? Like literally fight winning. So they're gonna literally lose that fight due to that Suzu. But I think also to a lesser extent, the theory of what they were doing with the Kitsune rush made no sense. That's just terrible, man. That's really rough. So they're gonna go Sombra Tracer for retake, which is fine. And maybe you're thinking that we don't have enough space for a Sojourn to retake with. They had Sojourn ult last time they retook. Is a Suzu debate EMP? No. It's just brain off. Brain off. That's what it is.
They're actually going to have Kevster switch over from the Sojourn to the Tracer. So a little bit more synergy there from the back line, but Lastro goes down before they can even make
Can't do that, guys. We're in a last fight scenario now. They do have the Queen ult. Oh, someone? Hello? Someone dives out, but he doesn't actually get out. And here's the key thing. His Ana Lucio are actually rotating to high ground while he is getting hacked and pressured. So someone overextends. Really bad time for RuPaul to be rotating. And that puts him on the back foot. So on Lucy, we're going back to high ground while someone jumps out as he's hacked and he gets focused down. They will be able to stall.
Packed into those two factors. But right now it's Checkmate just trying to stay scarce on the point here. Mayhem almost let that one flip back here. It's going to have to be a good
rotation off of the pursuit behind. The nano's deep. It's good. Forces a lot of attention. They're able to get the beat off though. He's going to go peel back. He's looking for Ana. RuPaul gets caught with his pants down. Does he even get beat? No. Yes, he does. But I don't... Bro, my guy gets melted. So I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe a little bit of a late rotation. I don't know if the amp speed wasn't there or what. He does get the nade. No, he doesn't get the nade off. Okay, there's the rampage. They're able to chase down Lastro. Lastro's W King. There's the TP. Oh man, what is going on, Glads? I really need to look at the micro here. I think that was Suzu. I think. Then beat. Lastro W keys. Gladiators are all stacked in a clump. So Lastro TPs. Wait. Crud. I thought that was Yaki back there. So I don't know where Yaki was. I don't know where the Suzy, if the Suzy was used before, but Lastro is unable to create any distance whatsoever between himself and the fight at all. So he just freaking dies. His TP gets him literally nowhere. And then that's going to be a bit of a mess. Trades are getting messy, but it shouldn't matter if they force Sombra out. They do. And that should be it right there. So pretty clean. Some tough stuff from Gladiators in terms of like the retakes and even the holds. Like a lot of this, some goofy support stuff. Trying to think first fight even. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's rough. Was that a TP bug? No, there was just nowhere to go. I mean, the Glads beat and rushed in, but then the Heat went. But because of that, there was really nowhere for Lastro to go. That particular fight, I don't think was Lastro's fault. I would have liked to have seen. Here's the problem. You guys want to know the problem right here? Here's the problem. This is the problem right here. Astro gets hacked and then demands Suzu just to survive and then to get his beat off. So then when they beat engage, Lastro is isolatable, right? And then therefore doesn't have his Suzu for himself. Because listen, if this guy had TP, if this guy had Suzu, this fight goes in a different direction, I promise you. Because look. He Suzu's right now. And then Dante, because Dante has ulted, Dante's across the map. So Lastro actually has somebody to TP to if he had it right now. He couldn't TP to Sombra? Probably not, because she might have been dueling DPS. It might not have been any safer. So yeah.
Oasis goes the way of the pink, and Blizzard World will be one to reign.
So besides that, that's about all I can tell you there, without looking at the replay viewer in depth, which obviously, ha 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 ha.
They're baiting.
Kepster missed the boat on that one.
I think they baited the flower, because you're starting to look for it now. So like,
Sigma, Mayhem whipping out the cheese, right? We might see a swap off of Sigma on second. It's too wide for Sigma on second. Ash Tracer on a Brig, anti-dive spam. You know, it's different. But again, someone doesn't exactly have an S-tier diva, so I think that there's more options available to Mayhem, whatever they want to try. So let's see. Gladiators are going to go a weird variation here, where they're going to go... basically, we're playing for first point with a Sombra off angle. Genji dives the Ashe on first point. This will be a Tracer on second. And then we're going to play on a Zen greed because you only have a Tracer to contest backline. So we don't need a brick. Come on, thanks for the sub. We don't need a brick. So why would we play like an anti-dive support when it's literally just Tracer? So this is like, we want to dive your backline because you're running on a Ashe, right? But we want the greediest backline that we could possibly have. Hey, Orc, excuse me. Yeah. And the Genji is just because first point's really, really tight. You can immediately dash on high ground. We've seen Genji a lot on this first point from a lot of different teams. It will transition to a Tracer on second, and if the Mayhem transition to a Winston, which they probably will on second, then we will probably see a transition to Brick.
Value from Merit, slow the pace down.
So a little bit of early pressure, waiting for everyone to kind of get set up, maybe distracting people so that they can rotate a little bit easier. It's very important that someone is able to keep a lot of backline pressure, and it looks like he's doing just that. They're keeping a lot of pressure on that backline. He's going to get his shift force, but he's more than willing to take the attention as long as he gets healing from his team, because that means it's a lot easier for his backline to survive. Now, I will say that he probably took a little too much damage, right? That shield would have been... Like, here's the thing with his shield. There's no reason for him not to be shielding right now, right? He takes way too much damage before this fight starts, so that's a bit of a mechanical miscue from someone. And that means that instead of being 165 HP, he should be somewhere in the 350 mark, doing the exact same thing that he did there, even if he's missing a little bit of his shield. That's fine. So that puts a lot of attention from the supports onto him, which then ironically exposes those supports to the exact same dive that they are concerned about in the first place. Yaki is out, but Chorong gets picked. DANTEH gets traded because he doesn't have bubble. Yaki gets traded back as a result. Maybe Gladiators are a little bit too impatient there. They had an advantage, maybe a little bit more patience, and a nice snapback from Merit. Okay, let's keep going.
I guess ignored to a great degree by Winston, right? Just kind of goes overhead his way.
Back up, kite away from that damage.
Okay, so same thing. Just want to see a little bit more HP management. No way. They found Sombra Translocator. They found Sombra Translocator. That's it. Sabina! No, they found Sombra Translocator. So that's going to set things back for the Gladiators again. You saw Mayhem literally chasing them into their spawn. So, you know. Early Dynamite. Doesn't really matter. Let's farm it up. Nano Winston. Bro, Gladiators, like... Bro, Gladiators need to work at this. This is basic stuff here, y'all. Like, I don't even know if Yaki's set up yet. It doesn't look like it because he freaking hacks the Sigma. Kevster is nowhere near ready.
Yeah, but how did RuPaul kill Yaki?
Ana Zen are still way behind even Kevster. They can't even peek at all. This is a terrible dive. Terrible. So Sombra's not staged yet. Genji's not staged yet. Ana and Zen aren't staged yet. I don't know what we're doing here. So then someone is completely isolated because Nano, but it doesn't matter because this was the easiest dive in the history of the world to peel off. I mean, nobody was ready for this dive. Nobody. The whole reason that you're running Genji is so that you could dash high ground off of your Winston and actually kill backline. The whole reason that you're running Sombra is so that you can establish a cut on backline, right? You can hack the Ana. You can, or the Brig, so that there isn't a whip shot or sleep dart follow-up. And you can, at the same time, have your Ana Zen aggressively spamming with Discord on high ground or trading on the Sigma. And that's fine because now you have a trance in case you need to peel off your backline. This is just terrible, guys. This is over. Like, Glads are cooked. The push is cooked. They're going to commit Trance. They're going to commit Primal. Let me put it this way. If RuPaul is better with this Nano on Chorong right now, I don't even know why RuPaul doesn't Nano here. Like, this should be 100% Nano right now, and this fight's cooked. So maybe Glads brute force it. He's going to Nano Ashe. That's no bueno. And there's just no way that Glads are going to commit 4 ultimates in this fight and maybe still lose it. Just terrible, guys. Just terrible. Just terrible. You just ignore the Sig? Well, the Ana Zen can handle the Sig if they could do it at a distance. The Ana Zen would play a little bit further back. They wouldn't push aggressively forward, but they would definitely be further up than where they were. keep distance, play towards the mega, you know?
No capture progress on
I don't know, guys. This is just embarrassing performance from Gladiators there. And this is the thing with Glads, like occasionally they just completely like that should have been an easy fight win right there. You have all the ultimates you need.
Don't have the nano boost. Babo used that in the last fight. This is just a vanilla blade.
And now the Brig swap. And the Brig swap can allow your Ana to like actually take space. I don't love the Brig into the Sigma stuff, but like it's also like your Zenyatta's getting like completely like rolled by shield. But yeah. And again. Again, I don't understand the timing of that dive. Even from a soft dive perspective, it was strange.
Checkmate is 5-0 right now. Completely untouched and tearing strips off of the Gladiators.
Holy crap. Did we actually time a dive correctly?
Rotation. And then can dive on in here. Checkmate is 5-0 right now. Completely untouched and tearing strips off of the Gladiators.
We did. Unreal. We actually timed the dive correctly. I'm still really confused why Yaki is always hacking Sigma though. Like, if you're going for a blade and backline, would you not want like a Sombra up here, or at least like off-angling from like here? I don't understand, especially with the Brig. I don't understand Yaki's. I think Yaki's Sombra here is like really questionable, especially with the Translocator getting destroyed. Like a lot of questionable target priority here. This is finally, I think, good timing from Kevster and Dante here. We get at least 2 out of the 3 there, right? So Kevster gets there. And someone gets isolated out. Someone's going to die.
I'm happy to stand corrected on that one. Kevster proving
You hack Ana, yes. Or Brig, or anybody, or Ash. Like, you establish an off-angle on the backline. You're playing for the kill on the backline. You're not playing for a soft dive here. So that was a good dive from Dante and Kevster, though.
But it still remains that the ultimate rotation for the Gladiators right now just isn't super strong. I think that's why we're going to see Kevster go back to spawn.
We're going to go Tracer.
And that's going to be the Tracer now. So full dive active.
So this will be fun. How much can Merritt get done with the Ash on this sideline? Like, I think like the Sombra and Tracer are really good too. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes. Aggressive Ash pressure. Will they be able to set up any sort of hack pressure on our backline? Will they be able to set up any hack pressure on the Kevster, Checkmate, who will not have his buddy Sombra with him? I imagine probably Nano Winston is what we're going to see. Ah, Babel, what is this rotation? Ooh, my butt cheeks. Oh. They actually go back Zenyatta, which is pretty cute. If this guy is Sombra, this guy's definitely Brig, but they're thinking that like, hey, we can ego cart with like Discord and stuff and get these like nice long juicy sightlines, and because it's just Winston Tracer and we have our Tracer to kind of mark their Tracer theoretically, that we should be good to go. So I don't hate the Zen swap. I think it makes okay. If you hack on it, does the slash dash combo one shot? The hack damage boost only applies to the Sombra. Correct, Tupeler. Yes. I think the Mayhem were struggling to get early pressure. I think someone was kind of misusing his resources. And it was hard for me to say exactly what was happening from Checkmate's POV. But yeah, I think Gladiators had multiple times where they were able to stage dives properly if they'd done it, but it just wasn't working. Yeah, you're very welcome. Okay, so the Zen is a cool choice, especially considering the backline that you have. I'm down with it. Rotation here is obviously a little bit screwy, but they get it, right? Okay, so now really Gladiators can ironically just focus cart, even with the Ash damage on high. I don't think you have to damage the on high. Oh man. Lastro just feeds, guys. Like I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Like he just should be playing corner here. It's a matter of micromillimeters, right? Like there's nothing wrong with this positioning here. There's also nothing particularly wrong with this positioning here, but it doesn't stop there, right? He swings outside the door frame, gets dynamited. The nade doesn't come in. Well, obviously the nade doesn't matter. I mean, this guy, and then he decides to nano him despite him being naded. You really can't peek that. Okay, all right. You guys ready for this? Who was here for the Batiste VOD review? Who is here for the Batiste vibe review? Do you guys remember what we talked about with the timing and the deepening of your angles, right? What's the mistake here? Where's DANTEH right now?
Yeah, Zen is just
DANTEH's here. He's still here. You notice this? So Lastro peeks out aggressively while his tank is essentially AFK. Of course you're going to get naded. Everybody's attention is on you. There's nothing else happening. Of course, not only going to get naded, but you're going to get dynamite, you're going to get Ana shot, you're going to get Winston zapped and everything. Janio, thank you for the sub. So, map shift usage for Zen. So, like, the nano doesn't matter. This guy's dead. It's over. It's over.
Coming over there, so they do switch over to the Sombra.
That's a nano Jax. That is
a quick you know.
Yeah. That's a nano Jax.
All Glad's had to do there was force point, avoid the Ashe sightlines, and then maybe look for a dive later. If Lassiter wants to push off at that timing, I'm more than willing. That was a big mistake from both supports there. Now, how is Chorong going to get value here? I think Chorong will be doing a lot of spy checking, try to deny Winston jump. So even though they're on his end, there's lots for Chorong to do there. Okay, let's look. Now, this fight, probably I don't know what we're gonna do here. You really Nana could be for both. You've got EMP, you got Primal. They don't have a good angle for nade, so theoretically you could nano your Brig here. You could also nano your Winston because they're squishies on a backline rotation. So honestly, either one. Yeah, this is an ugly map from Glad so far. Mayhem aren't exactly popping off either, but yeah, this is what we talked about, right? Like, look at someone's HP here, right? He peeks cart, immediately, like, it starts getting slapped around, he's out immediately, right? Now, they do have the Ashe damage, but this is where, like, Zen damage is better than Ashe damage, because this is a high damage hero, this is a high damage hero. This technically is a higher damage hero. However, this damage hero multiplies the damage of this, and this, and this, and this. So generally, Zenyatta does more damage than an Ashe, indirectly, if that makes sense. So if you have fights on open space and point, it's ironically the support that does more damage than the Ashe indirectly. So Gladiators are able to do this here, but then the Ana off angle here freaking is just murdering. Also, check it. Yaki does not know how to play Sombra. This is miserable Sombra gameplay right here. Look at this. Walks into Winston Zap on cart in front of his Sombra Tracer and Winston. Gets cleaved. Like what? And then cleared immediately. Chat, what would Lip do? What would Lip do? Alright, let's play episode number 1 of what would Lip do right now. You guys tell me. Two options. Yep. You either set up your translocator, wrap through and harass Ashe or Ana on the off angle. Just solo hack to keep them pressured. Or you would go under and you'd set up right here under bridge and manual hack Winston from behind where Ashe and Ana can't see him, and that will immediately force someone to jump out or someone dies. And he won't be forced out, so then he will, either option he won't be forced out, so then he will re-stealth, set up, and try it again at a later point, or then take that opportunity to go for high ground. Yaki does not know how to play Sombra. This is garbage. Garbage Sombra play. You do not stack, you do not disregard Ashe and on the sightlines. Horrible.
Oh, they gotta run,
Yeah, another big
Gladiators.
bio. That's scary stuff. Rupa in a pretty safe position here. Yeah, another big bio.
Gladiators.
That's scary stuff.
Yaki gets cleared really, really fast. Now Winston goes in. This is just so... Oh, man. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's count the things wrong with this dive. Now, I'm going to preface this. I'm being very negative, okay? Good teams force bad mistakes. Do you kind of see what I'm saying? Good teams force mistakes, okay? So let's, I'm sorry. We just have to. I can't sit here and pretend that this is good. Number one, Yaki scouted early and immediately forced before the Winston even dies, okay? Number two, they decide to commit anyway. Number three, Tracer is, I assume, MIA or marking, but marking unsuccessfully because Lastro dies to checkmate anyway. So I will reserve judgment on Kevster because I don't know where he is or what he's doing. But yeah. Number four, you do not force a backline rotation with both supports out in the open at the same time. Do you guys ever see like the stupid cop movies or soldier movies where they're like, cover me, cover me? How do you cover somebody in a gunfight? You send one person ahead, one person holds space and applies covering fire. So what that would look like, and then you slowly sequentially take space like that, is what you look like is you would go, okay, Zen rotate forward, Ana sits here. And then if Zen gets dove, Ana hard pockets without being pressured from cover. So she's able to safely pocket the Zenyatta from here without needing to actually rotate herself until they've baited, survived the dive, and so on. In addition, going into this fight with Nano and Primal, you really can't have your Zenyatta on a Zen doing this rotate at all. You kind of have to bait and force point. So it doesn't make sense for anybody from Gladiators to be rotating out aggressively here. Bubble, though? You guys want to know the solution to Bubble? Watch this. Ta-da! Not in Bubble! That's it. You got a Winston kit and the S key. That's all you need. Babble's probably even sitting on nade here. The problem here is that Babel and Lastro are in the middle of Narnia, and Babel is running for his life, when Babel should instead be focusing on keeping Lastro alive, instead of keeping himself alive. Do you see this? And then that means that he doesn't get healing to Lastro, and in addition, he freaking dies to Bob. Look at this guy. The guy, look at Grandma. Look at Grandma. Look at Grandma. BAM! So, terrible dive setup from Gladiators, terrible peel setup from Gladiators, and it's over. You didn't even need the bot there. You didn't even need the nano there. So the mistake actually from Mayhem is maybe actually looking for both nano and Bob on the rotation when they've just, I think maybe there was a miss ultrac, I don't know. So poor backline, poor frontline, everything good or bad. Rahag, I think it's a little bit of both. Gladiators have looked really clean at times. Gladiators have looked really not clean at times. The better teams are more consistent for sure and have higher ceilings. In the first place is to be able to give over those orbs of discord and be able to follow up. But the Gladiators are just Yaki setting up for backline. Pace that the Florida Mayhem are setting with these fights is too fast that they have to rely on something like this EMP from Yaki to really get the job done. And they've got that they have to rely on pace that the Florida Mayhem he gives himself away. And then gets shot out of stealth on a manual hack. Then DANTEH just dies off of a dive on top. He's over here. He's across the map. I don't even know. He doesn't even get slept or naded. He just freaking dies. He just freaking dies. And then... And they've got 30 seconds left. Have to
rely on something like this EMP from Yaki to really get the job done, and they've got 30 seconds left.
Dante, unreal. Yeah, absolutely mauled there.
They're not even forcing point. Like, the whole point of your comp is that, like, okay, Checkmate just gets stoned. The whole point of your comp is that you have your Discord advantage on point. Like, just force point. Like force point while Dante jumps on the Ashe, for example. You don't even need to jump the on it. Jump the Ashe, force point, cycle, rinse, and repeat. What is happening? Lastro gets isolated. Oh, there's the nade here. It's Lastro, there's instant trance. Dante primals Ashe. There's the EMP. But there's no follow-up. The EMPs at the moment that Dante jumps off of high ground is on the floor. Kevster can't follow up because he's supposed to be pushing cart. Dante's freaking dead. The nano doesn't get there in time. They're going to nano probably Kevster. They don't nano Kevster in time. They actually nano jacks again. And it's over. Probably the worst map we've seen from a high-level Overwatch team this season.
It's a tough sell for me, this Gladiators dive comp. I'm not going to lie. No, that is not on either of those players. Here comes TP to send us forward. Checkmate on the Hanzo. Just a Sonic, though. Probably just.
I mean, they just needed to force point. And then if they're going to dive top, actually synchronize it. And then have your supports actually properly rotating or just contesting and holding space and not doing anything crazy. I don't know.
And we're back on the Tracer.
Okay.
Yeah, so, I mean,
Floater goes Lucio. Really strange. Really not something we're used to seeing. So what we expect. Okay, so here's why you run Lucio. You ready for this one? Set play. You don't need the Lucio speed the way most teams play this kind of like fishing back and forth on the point. So the first X factor here is that we're running Winston, right? They don't want to run the Diva. They want to actually set up a dive on this backline here. Okay, this backline is reasonable. Okay. So then what I expect here is probably... Okay, so let's talk about what I expect. Where's a frame? I need a frame. Okay, we're not going to get a frame. What I expect is a rotate around far right, so then up through here. And then they're actually probably going to try to speed on and dive high ground, steal high ground from them, play from point, and then stage a dive onto them from Mega. I'm going to draw it up as soon as we get a frame, I promise. Hang on.
We're back on the Tracer.
All right, come on. So they're going to rotate right, I think. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. Here, dive top with your Lucio speed, which Lucio is really good at. Glads have to rotate this direction. Now we have point control. But you can't stay there because the Glads will take off angles and shoot point. And obviously you don't have a Diva, so you're just going to melt on point. But that's okay, because Mayhem, by using this cover here and by using this springboard from here, will have a very quick and short dive onto the backline here that will feel better than trying to dive to the backline here. They rotate from here, not because standing static here is good, no. But they will then use this position to force the Glads on the floor into a more accessible location, using point pressure to force them forward.
But to your point
Watch it.
Before that replay, that's maybe why we didn't see the dive on City Center. I was kind of thinking, well, maybe
I would be surprised if we don't see that.
Ramattra Brawl coming out from Florida Mayhem, and they might not feel confident enough to be able to.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. Chat, do you know what they did?
They might not feel confident enough to be able to run the dive into another strong dive.
Okay, I don't know if it was worth it. I don't know if it was worth it, but they actually tried to. The Glads have kind of already started to lean this way, predicting this rotation. So then they double back and try to catch the Glads off guard. The only problem is that Babel doesn't actually rotate. Oh, and one other problem, Merit isn't ready yet. Merit isn't actually staged. So that's really unfortunate. But maybe in the chaos, things can kind of be worked out. So a little bit of a mistiming from Mayhem. It's a cute flip, but Babel hasn't actually rotated yet. I would have loved if they had let Sombra set up just a little bit, because if they'd let Merit set up, they would have had better scouting information for this dive, and they would have gotten a kill on either the Honor or Kiriko, I think, faster.
Mayhem, and they might not feel confident enough to be able to run the dive into another strong dive team. Like
Good play, but not perfect execution. I don't know if there's anything else there that was like had a factor in there as well. They do catch Lastro on the next dive, and then he's dead. Chorong cannot get traded. Chorong must survive. He does survive. Wow, that's it. So we might... Okay, you guys ready for this one? I predict Chorong to swap as soon as they cap first. Chorong has been 1 HP, I think, for about 6 years.
DANTEH got slept by RuPaul. Even though RuPaul ended up getting eliminated there, stopping the Winston in his tracks, it was an easy target.
He got slept.
From that point onwards, you just can't trade. You can't trade 1-for-1 defensively here. It just does not look good.
He's unable to... I mean, that's one of the DANTEH things. I didn't see... Oh, there's the EMP to guarantee it. That's one of the things with DANTEH is that he's had... He gets slept a lot. I didn't fully see there if that one was... Like, the bubble placement isn't quite there. He doesn't have as much confidence. Now, I actually don't know if Chorong swaps now. Maybe he swaps, but he's built up a lot of beat. I think he might swap though. Yeah, there's the swap. Okay, so they don't value the beat as much, which is reasonable. I don't think beat is that good in this open of a map. And they go Brig. No Suzu, that's true. That's true. Like, here's the thing with DANTEH, guys. Like, it's asking a lot of... Here you go, Graham. Graham, come here. It's asking a lot of a player to pick up arguably the hardest tank to, like, pick up at an L level. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's tough, you know? Like, I know, like, we can be fair with our criticisms of DANTEH, but, like, you know what? It's a lot to ask. This is a tough meta for Glads, I think. Like, you know, a lot of teams that have, like, these flashy rosters in some ways are getting exposed by the lack of Winston Sombra play, you know?
Charged. And the Florida Mayhem are going to capitalize on that momentum moving forward by taking this high ground.
What do Florida do? Do Florida just try to greed and force point? There's the EMP. That's a good dive from Gladiators. It's a greedy, aggressive dive, but it's there. Oh. And there's the trade. So Florida Mayhem just trades backlines. That's huge. And one ult for one ult, but obviously you roll the dice, you hit a double pulse farm. That's crazy. Yeah, D.Va is better than Winston on this map, in my opinion. Oof. So every time Gladiators have good timing with the dive, Mayhem are like, yeah, but we could do it too. Oh, man. Yes, agreed. There's the point pressure. Tracer with the point. Tracer versus Winston. If they can't get an angle on Winston, Tracer's going to be able to leverage point better. Interestingly enough here, Mayhem decides to aggressively rotate top, which is ballsy, given the fact that they're not, like, fully all in there. But it's a good nano. Great peel. The sleep dart comes out again, and even though the sleep dart doesn't last as long, it gives, like, look, you look at this fight and you're like, Mayhem surely dies here, right? Surely they die here, but that they're always, like, just on the cusp, and just, like, they get the cooldowns, they get the nano, he hits the sleep dart, right? And that allows them to disengage this fight. As poor as it did go with the stuck pulse, right? They're able to trade ultimates effectively, and Gladiators are just unable to finish. I'm trying to look if there's anything here that to note. It's hard to see if the Glad's dive was well timed. The Winston and Tracer are there. The Sombra is not, and DANTEH gets slept even with bubble. Yaki's on high ground, so probably not a very well executed dive in terms of, like, setting up the micro there. We could predict, like, even there, Chorong blocks nade. Like, right there. Like, that's a big deal, right? And then Yaki gets caught off guard, so maybe a Sombra locator destruction there. There's a nano on Tracer, there's the rally in response. Kevster gets naded, DANTEH should die. DANTEH doesn't die, he does get out, but Kevster gets the recall forced. And he's out, they catch Kevster, there's a solo EMP. Mayhem are just better. They're just significantly better in every single way. I think Kev's, like, there's a lot of moments where you can, like, look mechanically and, like, you know, this guy obviously played well, but, like, there's just everything, the dive timing, the understanding of how to position his Sombra, the backline rotations, hitting of cooldowns, the tank play, everything was done better. Fundamental team play and individual performance as a whole, I think. And I don't think, yeah, so just, yeah.
1 point.
Well, the second point is
The dive gap is just monstrous. Okay, so this is weird to me. I don't understand why Mayhem roll out on this comp. I understand what the composition's role is, but remember, the goal of this composition is short sightlines, and Koth has those in plenty. But in this map, there aren't a lot of angles available, but there are pretty decent fat sightlines, so this is unusual to me. This might be a little bit of humility from Mayhem, where they don't think that they could beat the Gladiators in a straight mirror. Maybe they're like, I don't know that we could beat these guys in a straight mirror, I don't know. But I feel like at least mechanically that shouldn't be the case. Like, this should be a matchup that everybody's happy with, right? Merit, Kevster, someone to DANTEH. If anything, RuPaul's probably a better Batiste than Lastro is, right? So it might just be a team execution thing where they've not performed up to snuff and so that they're trying to whip out some cheese. But this is a weird swap. This is a weird swap. To be honest with you guys. And I think that Gladiators do have the better composition for this map, I think. Obviously, Mayhem loses this one. Again, I have not seen this match, so I don't know how or why. Obviously, the Wraith getting forced out early is pretty sucky. That Merit should just die, and he does, yeah. And that's it. So it's just it's the same way that Glads beat it on Koth is the same thing here. But the difference between this and Koth is that it's going to be easier to do that. What are your thoughts on spawn holding? For what Mayhem are running, there's no points not spawn holding because you're not going to get really that much advantage out of the high ground. But it is an interesting test to see if teams would benefit more from holding that first corner instead of spawn holding. I don't know the answer to that. I don't have the scrim insight that other coaches would have playing in the league. But for Mayhem it makes total sense to spawn camp. But for other teams, yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. Now theoretically, this fight right here is where Mayhem is strongest. Not good Sojourn off angles. Very short sightlines. High Moira value. So if Mayhem can't win this one, especially considering there's no ults online, then no, they're cooked. It's a good wall. Counter wall is not good. The payload breaks the majority of it. That's really bad execution from Mayhem. I will say as well, this is the kind of stuff that we don't like to see. Someone gets the big fat, I'm gonna change color, X. Fail. Epic. 2008 called. Yeah, this is atrocious, right? Like, you can't peak this, right? Like, look at his HP, right? Like, look at this guy's HP, and his team is not even there yet. They need to wait, hold the corner with discipline, wait till the line is crossed, then immediately Maywall and punish. And if you do that, it's over. Donating health before the fight, right? You're giving them a fat wall. Like, right now, the wall needs to be there. It's not. And a lot of, you can even see how Yaki kind of goes first to make sure that he gets the wall off, because that prevents this wall from happening. And because they're unable to contest it, then they have to swing around. Someone has to pop his Nemesis form first. There's nothing wrong with Nemesising first, but only if you want to, not because you've been forced to. That's the problem here. And then the wall is bad because they're unable to contest payload, so it breaks almost immediately. And it also does not wall off Kevster, who is the #1 person who you want to be walling off. And then they obviously hit the shot on RuPaul there. But regardless of whether the mechanical play there, it was really poor execution by Mayhem. And that's your fight to win here, because now the map starts to open up a little bit, and you're going to be behind an old economy running a Moira. You don't love to see that. Why would you want to Nemesis first? If the enemy were to take an aggressive position trying to get a wall on you, and you could immediately pop your Nemesis form and force their ice block really quickly, then she becomes really fragile almost immediately. Or, for example, you could get on top of the bat like that, use it. If you see an opportunity, go. You could force out a lamp shift almost immediately.
We saw an Oasis. It's working really well. They haven't had to use any ultimates to sort of win these.
So that was very poor from Mayhem.
Charges up that call. Yeah, Astro is well ahead in terms of ult charge here, so all good signs for the
3, 2, 1. The Mei wall isn't quite as good. They're able to break it. Merit is unable to take a short silent, and this is just where like they get like there's just no way Mayhem wins this fight. It's just over. It's just you have the you don't have the first ult. You're playing in wide open sight lines. You're not able to set up a good Reaper flank. I don't know. I mean, Gladiators are like actually dominating this matchup right here. Like it's not even close.
Well, that's at least a step in the right direction.
So obviously Kevster's hitting all the shots, but Gladiators as a whole are playing this one better. Kevster a little bit greedy, maybe with a railgun charge there. Yeah, he's definitely a little bit of greedy. They catch him with the E as well. Then they're trying to Cole. It's going to force out an early lamp and probably a beat. Yeah, there's the beat as well. So a bit of a misplay from Kevster there. Really nice E from someone there to force all the panic there. There's going to be a counter tank ult from someone. But it doesn't matter. Like, someone is so low because he's getting absolutely railed and then frozen. So yeah, that's good. They are really far behind in ult economy. They don't have beat. They didn't get Blizzard in time, I don't think. Yeah, they don't even have the Reaper ult. I mean, there isn't a whole lot to say here. Kevster kind of messes up, which is why this fight feels hairy. The wall as well isn't particularly good, but it does force. The wall isn't amazing, but it's good enough because it walls off. I don't know if you guys can see this, but Checkmate actually gets walled off. So there's no wall to pursue here. Right there. There's Checkmate, right? So Checkmate actually gets walled off. The peel is there for Kevster. The lamp is forced. The Cole is there. The beat, they actually window as well. So Gladiators do commit a pretty decent amount of ults to this fight. But a 3 for 2 and you win is not the end of the world. And again, open sightlines. Kevster already farming up that X ultimate. The only reason it's messy is because Kevster kind of trolls the lobby. So yeah.
Dragging out a little bit more. You can really see the difference between an escort map and in the fight.
Yeah. I think the first round was by far our most competitive. I feel like even the first round of Koth was competitive, just Gladiators made too many individual mistakes. And then the second round of Koth was obviously very close. On Raw Dive, though, Gladiators looked terrible. And then on this particular matchup, Mayhem have looked total ice cold. May ult advantage here is huge. This is the fight that Mayhem not only could win, but should win. I think, you know, beat is obviously crucial. Reaper ult is obviously crucial. But May ult is really the difference maker here. You're going to be able to easily isolate out Dante. And even if he gets that Nemesis form, or that Annihilation, I think this should probably be it. They just need to wall this here. And honestly, just focus this guy. You don't even need to walk in melee range if you're scared of Annihilation. Yeah, there it is.
Okay, I like this. But hey, immortality feels nice.
And they just straight up killed the guy.
Charge up those railgun shots as well, and he's
I don't know what Checkmate is doing, guys. I'm not gonna lie with you guys. My guess is that they're expecting the Annihilation, and then we're gonna wall in front of him, and then kite out, and then wait until they get one of these ultimates. That has to be the play. But it is strange. That's a very risky play. Very risky play. It would be better for them to do a wall here and then do this exact same play. Yes, you're concerned about Annihilation, but it completely removes the off chance that any of these players do anything. Dante's so far away. I mean, that's just the map, right? You know, that's the map. The confusing thing here is why I think Dante gets stuck, and then why there's no punish from the rest of Gladiators, right? Like, you know, I don't know. Kind of confusing play from both teams there.
Just getting a little ahead of themselves there, but a good setup with the May wall to make it very hard for Los Angeles to
Kevster. Oh my gosh, Astro, chill.
From the Florida Mayhem to be able to take control after Florida Mayhem to shoot down. You just have to be careful of Kevster, who could get free.
Yeah, I agree, and especially considering there was no counter wall. I think it was because Glads were so scared of Blizzard that they just kind of like let Dante die. But yeah, Gladiators now have Sojourn ult. You might see Sojourn ult. You see, the problem with opening with Sojourn ult is that this part of the map... Okay, so here's what I want from Gladiators. I want a full flip all the way here. Then I want a Sojourn ult forcing cart. That will either force Cole, beat, or both, and then Gladiators just do this. You ready for this? This is Gladiators' fight plan. Relax. Once you get that rotation out, it doesn't matter if they pop beat, Colt, it doesn't matter. Just relax. DANTEH can pop his ultimate if he wants to. Just being chilling. You know what I'm saying? The only thing you have to worry about is maybe the TP Death Blossom. But their full flip just get kited back. Yes, but remember, who wins it if it gets forced, if fight gets forced on cart, right? If the fight gets forced on cart and Gladiator's backline looks like this, and both Rams are touching cart, who's gonna win that trade? Yeah. So someone's going to get annihilated, right? He's going to get absolutely railed, literally, by these guys. He's going to take so much damage. They have to, like, it's too open of a space or too open of a sightline. So Gladiators, even though they're going into 3 versus 2, if they're able to complete this rotation and Mayhem are unable to mark, then it could be really good. Now, Mayhem are savvy to it, right? They know, and then now they're not going to be able to get this rotation off. That's a really good meet by Mayhem. Good ult by DANTEH, though, and this is reasonable sightlines. Like, Glads aren't cooked. Oh, they are cooked. What happens to Lastro? Why does Lastro just die? He shifts way too early, and then I think he eats an icicle. Yeah, he eats an icicle. He eats an icicle to the noggin. So maybe Lastro, a little too overambitious. I think he also misuses his shift there as well, and he just freaking dies. So that's a huge mistake. You really don't love to see that one. Because I think Glad's frontline was more than safe. Like, this is the thing we talked about this, right? Remember, the goal of the... Oh, Just Greg, thanks for the sub, mate. Look, remember, DANTEH is not at risk here. DANTEH does not need help. We saw it earlier, but that's because he got 0 help. He's fine. And not only that, but he actually has Annihilation going right now. The real target of these guys is these guys. So I need more patience from the Gladiators here. We don't need to be taking aggressive positions. Kevster should not be using his shift when he knows that they have beat. And Death Blossom. This is a misplay from Kevster. This is a mistake. Lastro feeds as well. We have both our shift and our lamp that could have been used to kite this one out. Not well played by Gladiators. The first fight where I felt like Gladiators, Mayhem outperformed. Now, it was 3 ults for 2, but I think Gladiators want that one back. So they're going to flip left. It's fine. The cart is now really, really far back. They're looking for, you know, somebody hiding, maybe a Reaper. Not someone hiding, but somebody. Oh my gosh. So Mayhem are like, they've got the thirst. Pretty good wall by Gladiators. Even though it doesn't split anybody, it denies their amp speed, so it gives Gladiators time to disengage. The Blizzard is pretty good as well. It's maybe a little bit too deep, but okay, so this is actually okay. What's the worst used ultimate on this fight? Yeah, the window, right. Yeah, the window. Yeah, it's not good. Whenever you see this, you have to create distance. Like, you can't, this isn't gonna work, right? You need to, like, be comfortable S-keying out, get the beat, and then window from, like, either a mid-fight situation or from a little bit of a further distance. Amp Matrix just gets completely negated. And the reason why that's important is because you're like, oh, Glad's pull it out. Yes, but look at what was used, right? And so then Checkmate actually builds an ultimate mid-fight, and every single ultimate from Gladiators was committed versus a Annihilation, and then they get traded. I don't think they walled off their own window, no. I mean, I guess, but it's like, Gladiators need to be in a better position to kite this, and the problem with BAP window is it does not imply kiting. The Blizzard is fine. It forces a really nice split. It also freezes the Annihilation. It gets the kill. The Blizzard is, it's good. The window, worthless. This is when you would need your window right now, back here, actually used to clean up the fight, right? If they have the window better placed there, Reaper dies instantly, May dies instantly, Lucio dies instantly. This fight's lost. To be fair, Glads, we're clearly outplaying them early on, but Mayhem seems to have accrued their composure a little bit. I don't know how this map goes. Like I said, I don't know how the series goes outside of the final score. But yeah.
That was impeccable. I mean,
Yeah, Checkmate's Blizzard was pretty good, yeah. It's hard to nail down a speed boosting Ram, but he managed to just barely do it.
We go from very congratulatory to
Oh, no, Yaki I was talking about. But yeah, Checkmate's Blizzard was great, yeah. So now Gladiators are kind of screwed. I'm assuming a rail is hit here. Let's see here. Yaki wall, Yaki wall, Yaki wall. Yaki wall is pretty good. Again, like you see like the obstruction, right? Gladiators, the wall from Checkmate isn't quite there. They force the split. They're able to rush down and kill Lastro. I honestly don't even have a problem from Gladiators here. The only mistake that you can maybe argue from Gladiators is you need to be decisive about if you're going to split and hold or if you're going to stack and kite. So in other words, when you go into a fight when you don't have any ultimates, you either decide, guys, are we going to split and like hold our space and try to aggressively trade, or are we going to group up, bait the ultimate, and kite out? Because right now, Gladiators kite, but then that isolates the BAP Sojourn on the other side, who are not in a position to kite it out. So Gladiators need to be able to find a way to trade. You know, and that's, by the way, like, it's not a huge mistake from Glads. You know, you didn't have an ult going to that fight. The Mayhem did play that one really well. Maybe also you can say as well that, like, hey, this is one of the situations where the Mayhem comp is actually pretty darn good. Watch for Yaki Wall next fight. Is it better to keep it up or remove it? Depends. If it's an active obstruction that's hurting your team, then remove it. If it's doing something, even if it's a bad one, it's better than nothing. Okay.
40% awaits with sound barrier of his own. And if
probably just a beat or a Death Blossom engage on something. Good walls from both teams here. One is to isolate these guys so that they can rush on the other one. The funny thing though is there's a lack of communication. Like Mayhem gets split. Watch someone. Watch someone. Someone's like, hey, oh wait, oh okay, we're going over here. That's a bit of a mistake from someone. He needs to know that they're walling those guys off. BAP and Sojourn. They get the nice wall. They need to go. Sojourn should die. Oh no, 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 no. So they lose the speed boost, which is crucial due to Yaki's wall. They use their mobility cooldowns. Capture breaks their ankles. Lastro is able to run for his life. And look at how open the sightline is. It's a greedy fight plan from Mayhem there. Very greedy fight plan there to take that fight out in open space. Now I'm curious why DANTEH ults. Nah, I mean it's whatever. It's not that big of a deal. Wait, Mayhem uses sound barrier? Oh, and it only hits 2 people. Ouch. That's unfortunate for Mayhem. Exclamation mark coaching, Thomas. Yeah, this is a mess. And in these messy fights in open space, Gladiators comp is better. And messy fights in closed space, like we saw a few fights ago, Mayhem's comp is better. No problem, Thomas.
I mean, look at this. Blizzard over the point. That's all you really need here at rolling.
And this is the thing with the wall, like another good wall from Yaki. It splits off the May. Watch someone's HP. They're going to get early pressure out. It's going to force some cooldowns. It's a good Blizzard on point. Good BAP window spacing here. And Merit is unable to get to backline. Merit TPs to the flank, is unable to get to the backline. The window just completely shuts it down. Yeah, it's really nice execution set up there from Glads. I'm surprised that even worked as well as it did. Checkmate tries to clutch it out. It gets really messy here. That death from Lastro really felt unforced. Like, you know what he's going to do. I don't even know why he jumps. He just needs to stay on his feet, drop lamp, and Merit dies, and Lastro lives. So another unforced error from Lastro. And this fight should not have even been close. Yeah. The window placement was good, though, yeah. Yeah, I think it was a bit of a panic moment from Chorong the other fight, yeah.
Sometimes these errors are unforced, sometimes
Yeah.
they are forced, right? So, forward to Mayhem now.
Oh, for sure.
So there's the Ana. This might be sort of a hybrid where they're like, okay, we're going to rush it, but it's a more open space sightline map. Kind of a weird hybrid. But yeah. There's early pressure on someone. They hit the nade on Dante. They hit the nade on Yaki. That's going to force Ice Block, and Dante gets walled off. Annihilation. That's a nice wall. Gladiators are able to get out of that choke there. So, yeah. Bit of a weird fight from Glads there. A little bit forced. A little bit too antsy, you know?
Wow.
So, Mayhem going to this fight with Nano. Probably going to see a Nano Ramattra. They need to get onto Batista's Sojourn. They need to get a Batista and Sojourn, otherwise you're going to have a hard time securing any kill. There's the aggressive push. The wall is, honestly, not great. They're able to get everybody that they want out. Dante pops the Annihilation early. Chorong is low. That's the Nano Ramattra. He's able to get onto Lastro. Yes. That's it. Kevster gets the kill. A little bit of a weird fight plan from Gladiators. I was not expecting them to play that one as aggressively in that short sign as possible. I think they're going to be wanting that one back. Weird play from both sides. Not great, not terrible. Some good fights, some bad fights. I think Gladiators have looked good at points. Mayhem have looked good at points. But I really could go either way. Do you think Kevster should have been more aggressive there with his team taking all the attention? Yes. Yeah, Glad's really, there was a little bit of a desync with the aggression there. I don't know. So Mayhem goes more traditional. Now I like the Hanzo in this matchup, on this map. I really do. So if Kevster doesn't hit every rail, I think Hanzo better, personally. I think the damage output is higher. I think the ultimate isn't as bad as people give it credit for, at least in this matchup. My question is we can't have we can't have Merit here, and we also can't be like aggressively trading in this choke. Like, I don't know. Mayhem are kind of like brute forcing it a little bit. That's a really fat E from Dante there. But Gladiators are able to just kind of stuff them in a choke. Mayhem are unable to open things up, really. Oh, RuPaul is 1 HP. Someone gets smoked, walks right into a back window. Merit on the angle. He's okay. So one thing the Merit can do is... Oh, Astro gets exposed here. Is finding ways to get up into this position right here is really important, right? They're able to get out of the choke there, and that's going to be crucial. Merit dies in these mid-fights. He needs to be playing a little bit more safe. The Hanzo is more fragile, right? So you need to kind of keep your distance here. That was a weird fight, I'm not going to lie. Good news, though, is that the cart is moving past this corner. So I guess you guys kind of saw like what holding the first choke was like. I think maybe the reason why that's bad is that like the cart moves past that brutal choke right there on the corner, which now Hanzo means that Hanzo has space now, right? I mean, I'm surprised Merit's here. Like, I feel like Merit should be actually playing over here. I think that's the best off angle for Merit to be. It's a much longer sight, so I'm not happy with Merit's positioning. It's really weird how Mayhem are playing this. Like, I guess Yaki's going to die, but this feels way uglier than it has. Yeah, this is terrible execution from Mayhem. Like, D-tier execution from Mayhem. The Dragon is there, I guess, but Merit's positioning afterwards is terrible. They pop Suffering and Blizzard at the same time on the same target. So all of Mayhem resources, and they even use Ice Block too. So everything from Mayhem's going in on Yaki. So Yaki naturally dies. Chorong gets kind of caught in the middle of nowhere and dies again. This keeps happening because Dante trades. And then now Merit, who doesn't have a sightline worth jack diddly poop, is sitting back here getting zoned by a Ramattra, while Kevster's sitting a million miles away with Sojourn. So, you know, great shots from Kevster, obviously, because the guy's crazy, but really horrible fight setup from Mayhem, and poor ult usage. 3 ults dumped into one Brawl fight, and they barely get the kill, and they get traded afterwards. Ugly from Florida. So then they're going to swap Sojourn, but you're swapping Sojourn to compensate for the fact that you weren't positioned properly in the first fight to begin with. So then he's going to take something that can play a little more aggressive off angles, but he had the map available to him. So a big ult fight from really both teams, but Gladiators just play that one significantly better in terms of how they position and they took their spread. There's the angle. Sojourn takes the angle early, builds up a little bit of rail. He's going to use the E. He's too far for Ramattra to chase him down. So you can see, like, DANTEH wants to zone him, but he's too scared. It's a nice shot from Yaki. That's going to be basically a one-shot with the BAP window. Well, no, actually, it's not even the BAP window. But yeah, again, good setup from Gladiators. Will they be able to clean this one up? It's getting ugly, guys. Mayhem are kiting this out. Will they be able to kite it out in full? They will. Okay, so the kind of a reset there. BAP window on point should just win this one. I don't think Gladiators will build their window in time. There's the BAP window. Break the wall, break the wall, break the wall. Mayhem doing a good job. Gladiators play do a good job avoiding it. Astro does not quite get his beat in time. They do a good job finding him down on the flank. Notice, by the way, that they had a hit squad of May Lucio off of the BAP window on main, right? They didn't just BAP window on main, they also pincer pushed. Kevster just hits a shot because Kevster. May ults are traded. A lot of people are low. Yaki, they get the beat in time onto wait. Did they not just kill Yaki? They don't kill Yaki. No way Yaki doesn't die. Oh my goodness gracious. Then Astro comes back with beat. The off angle for May is good. Someone is in really deep, but both teams are in really deep here. And Merit, the key thing here is that Merit isn't there. Merit never gets back in time. Gladiators just outclass them on the Brawl. Really unimpressive work from Mayhem. Good stuff from Gladiators. The ult fights were looking pretty good. Honestly, pretty nicely done. Would it be fair to say Kev is the top 3 Sojourn right now? I don't know. We don't see enough Sojourn to know for sure. I don't really know. It's like really hard to say. You need like more footage to know. You know what I'm saying? Like, and even then, it's very hard to know without like POVs. I mean, he played well mechanically there. Yeah, so Mayhem really fumbles the bag with their old economy. Multiple times during that map. Yeah, I don't know. It was good. Gladiators deserve that one for sure. For sure. Okay, let's keep going. So yeah, this will be interesting. We've talked about this on the Oasis City Center. Same kind of thing. Early pressure. DANTEH doesn't want to play Winston. I think first fight Junker Queen is also pretty powerful because there's not a lot of high grounds for Winston to leverage, at least on very first fight. So I think Junker Queen is pretty darn good. Okay. So Glad somehow win this one. I wonder if they stick with the Queen throughout. That's the question for me. I would be surprised. Kiriko Lucio, just because you need the cleanse for your Junker Queen because she doesn't have any way to deal with nade. And also, we're probably going to be looking at times the Gladiators will be looking to rush and rotate and push on a Brig with using the Junker Queen shout. So it's not just a, hey, we poke with our Junker Queen. It's also we might rush with the Junker Queen. But if Mayhem's backline plays it well and doesn't get immediately sped on and they do hit their nades, then I think Mayhem's comp is objectively better here. This is just more of a, hey, we can't match you on this comp, so we're going to fight dirty, right? We don't hit nade. They do hit the hack on Babel, though. Frontline trade. Someone just freaking dies. Big carnage, big shot, Papa John's. Wow, he gets melted. That's a misplay, a rare misplay from someone. Maybe even a misplay from support, because you're going to notice something from RuPaul here. Look at someone's HP. It never budges up. But this might be why. He is hacked by Yaki as we speak. In fact, you can see him getting shot here, or I think that's a whip shot from Shorong onto Yaki. So the supports are looking at Yaki at the same time they push someone. It's pretty good timing from Gladiators there.
Challenge the Junker Queen up front like that.
That was not smart. That was not smart. Hoping maybe there was a bit more pressure on the back line of the Florida Mayhem.
I mean, it was fine. He just misplayed it. Like you're putting pressure there to just like zap, disengage, just to build ult charge. You need to play it smarter there.
The way that the Gladiators played that positionally did not allow for RuPaul to have clean sightlines onto the Winston. So no.
I mean, RuPaul had fine sightlines onto the Winston. He just was hacked. That's all.
This is not a rhythm you want to be on if you are the Florida Mayhem. This first fight going.
So. You're probably going to see a dive top. Maybe some pressure on front line here from a flanker. And then hopefully on a brig will at some point be able to rotate top. But you got to be careful because you don't want to get sped on by the Queen Lucio. So let's see.
The way of the Gladiators is huge.
You see, they're stuffing this choke aggressively here. That's a defensive anti-nade as well. And I want to point out why that defensive anti-nade happens. It's because Yaki is holding an off angle and pressing M1. So as poorly as Yaki played on Blizzard World, this angle is good. I actually don't like the Kiriko Lucio positioning here. I would have much rather preferred the Kiriko actually ahead with the Sombra right now to punish this rotation so that Yaki could do even more damage and Babel could do some damage himself. He doesn't need to be here. So they're able to keep a lot of pressure on the main tank there, and Merit just freaking gets the kill. So by the way, the Sojourn swap is really interesting. The Sojourn swap is basically saying that, like, hey, there's really no threat of anti-nade here. I can just farm up a rail and just, even if it's just a body shot at anybody, it's just like a free kill. Also, it's really, really, really easy to isolate and kill out Queen with the Sojourn stuff. It's an odd swap. Clearly, Mayhem are doing this for a specific reason. Those are a couple of good guesses, but yeah. Matt Babel freaking dies. I don't like Babel's positioning. I want to highlight that again because Babel not only is exposed to the Ana and Sojourn sightlines, he's also not helping his DPS control an off angle. So that's really depressing. The shout is used. Dante is low. He doesn't hit the cooldowns that he needs. He's really low, and this is gonna be fine. Ouchies. This map has the best ending so far. All right, I'm looking forward to it.
This time they keep a respectful distance. They don't just send someone in, you know, overpass down, jump back up, get hit.
Okay, now you've got Mayhem backline on high ground, which is a huge problem for Gladiators because you don't have the Winston jump to be able to directly engage top. They're going to try and speed top, but you're going to be able to nano the Winston on the rotation, case in point, and that's going to be like a lot of damage, right? And that was that comboed with nade. It was not. I don't even know where nade was used. Maybe they baited it right there. Yeah, right there. They baited on the rotation. He does hit nade. Yeah, he does hit the nade. I'm blind. Yeah, so that forces a little bit of an early shout. There's your cleave. There's your zaps. RuPaul gets killed by Kevster on the flank, I believe. I think Kevster was actually... No, Kevster just blinks right through, actually. I was expecting Kevster to wrap around from Mega side. But Kevster actually just blinks right through. Blink, 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 and gets him. So that's a huge stick. A little bit of a misplay there from Mayhem, considering how well that fight was set up. Controlling backline. Someone will need to jump out. They use the EMP. But the punish isn't there. They're not able to synchronize the punish. Again, like, the EMP hits a lot of people, but I just question, like, where's the follow-up? Like, were Glad's not ready? Is that Yaki's fault? Is that Gladiator's fault? But that's ugly, guys. That's ugly. You go 4v4, hit a 3-man EMP, and nothing happens. Yeah, I won't be disappointed.
This is why the Junker Queen.
Yeah, that was ugly. That was really ugly.
This is why the Junker Queen has weakness it does into the Winston composition, especially if you're not going to be playing any supports that have good range healing. Someone just pops down the Winston bubble, and what do? You can't heal through that. So that just pops down the Winston bubble, and what do? You can't.
So they're going to try and get capped. Someone's going to disengage. RuPaul is obviously very late to the party here, so they're going to try and just hold this high ground here. They're actually going to... Does he hit a knife? Yeah, he hits a knife on Merit. So Merit's low. Merit's able to get out, though. They're trying to keep up as much in early and often pressure. Really, the key thing for Gladiators is they need to kind of get backline somehow here. I don't know whether that's Sojourn, whether that's Ana, whether that's Brig. You're going to be able to force point. Maybe look for a manual hack onto a backliner, and at that point in time, like look for either a beat engage, Suzu engage, or not Suzu, Kitsune rush engage. They need to kind of force their way off the top. It's a huge stick. That's going to put them on the back foot. That's going to force more of a defensive beat than a push beat. Strangely enough, RuPaul drops. That feels scary. I don't know why he drops. Maybe it's because Kevster's pushing them at the top. It does look like that's what's happening. But maybe a little bit of a miscue there. I don't feel that was necessary from Mayhem. And that does expose him to being traded. The Kitsune Rush kit comes out. Merit pops ult. The ultimate hits as well, and that's going to be really fat. Yeah, see what here's what happens. Here's what happens. After the beat is used, they are trying to focus down DANTEH. That's the play. I don't know that I agree with this play, but that's what they're doing. They're going, okay, the beat is down. This guy's used shout. We know that he has ultimate. Everybody, they nade him, they drop on him, and the second that he tries to use his ultimate, we're going to bash him. It's a set play. They're trying to force DANTEH to use ultimate and then bash him out of it. But the problem with that is by dropping, you expose yourself to the rest of the Gladiators and the Kitsune Rush. And even if you bash it, if you don't bash it immediately, which they don't, bam, it still hits 2 people. In addition, Merit doesn't have the support he needs on high ground because his supports have dropped, so he has to drop onto the floor himself, which reduces his angle. So it's a nice sleep dart, but this is actually probably going to be lost by Mayhem through just a little bit of hubris off of a set play that doesn't quite work out as well. Oh, maybe not. Oh, never mind. Merit just carried. This is known as a caster curse, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, high risk, high reward play there from Mayhem. It ends up working out okay, but spooky. DANTEH goes swappity swap, and then here we go. Now, are we going to stay Kiriko? Kiriko with Lucio is a little bit harder. There's not as much healing. I already have gone over a little bit Poopy earlier in the stream. Right before I started this. Is that your name? Poopy. What was DANTEH doing there? I think he was just pushing top, but like in classic Gladiator fashion, maybe it was like desynced. I don't know. Let's find out. So Kevster slept. That's huge. They're unable to get the kill on Merit. That's also huge. Then they push. I don't know where Yaki is. They're spy checking him, but there's no punish on Yaki, and Merit just kind of RKOs Babel. So yeah.
Before that bot is able to reach that checkpoint, but it doesn't have much farther to go.
That ain't happening.
I don't think Ramattra comp is as good on this map. I think it's the speed of the Queen or the anti-Sombra Tracer. Sombra Tracer is a little bit too strong here for Ramattra, I think.
The JQ is giving them value diving headlong into a Junker Queen. The Gladiators, though, don't feel like the JQ is giving them value right now. They're actually going to be forced over to the Winston composition with Lucio Kiriko, by the way.
Now, you have to dive top. So here's what I want. 3-2-1 Winston jump, next bubble. Maybe even a TP plus Suzu from Babel. Yaki over here, or over here, and then Kevster blinks up top. Losing the Sojourn means that you do not have Mark on this. I wouldn't be surprised if Merit swaps Sombra next fight. Yo!
Content is still so good and
I appreciate it, mate. Do you think with the proposed Widow changes for Aces 5 Ashe, she's completely useless, or does she still have a place? I think she still has a place in the minute. But we'll see.
Sort of, I guess, support line for a dive strategy here.
So, will... Oh, the nade is blocked. Ooh. See, this is the problem with the Gladiators dives. Do you see the problem with the Gladiators dives, y'all? So even though, like, RuPaul beefs the nade, like, RuPaul really beefs the nade here, right? He doesn't hit the Lucio. But this is the problem with this is the problem with Gladiators dives. Here's, do you see what you see on your screen? Sombra, Tracer, Winston, all in a line. Not a single cut from behind. No angle on E dive. So nice kite from Mayhem, but also it's like painful, like how stacked they are, you know? Like I feel like Yaki being even just behind there from Mega would it be, and then obviously the rubber band effect, you use all the cooldowns, the other composition snaps right back, and then you're cooked. How do Glads win this, guys? I don't know how RuPaul dies. That's probably a little bit of a mess there.
Really, healing output is all favors to try to keep a Winston up and alive. And even though Funny Astro's healing output is always
Bold.
so strong,
EMP to the high ground.
even the output is always so to try to keep a Winston up and alive. And even though Funny Astro's healing output is always so strong, up and alive. And even though
Is Dante on the left?
It's really not going to do you any favors to try to keep a Winston up and alive. And even though Funny Astro's healing output is always...
So I think they send Winston from the flank with speed from the Mega Room.
so strong.
And you can see Astro is also following up. Watch. You see this? He's actually speeding Dante up. Watch Dante's ult charge. He's trying, right? It's just a little bit off, right? Like, look. Look. If this is just a tiny bit better timed.
Up and alive. And even though Funny Astro's healing output is always...
If it's just a tiny bit better timed. Right? It's a high risk, high reward play because they're on high ground, but I also don't hate it in theory from the Gladiators. It just needs to be a little bit better timed. I understand that it's hard though because they do have rally as well. So it's like it's hard. Like let's put it this way, guys. For all the Gladiators crap that we've seen so far this series in terms of garbage dives, that was one of the least egregious ones that we've seen so far. That was one of the least offensive ones. It was really close. It was a high risk, high reward play. Kevster couldn't be there because that would have spoiled the entire surprise. They would have seen it coming a million miles away. The timing wasn't bad. It just wasn't quite perfect. Like obviously the result sucks, but considering the previous comparing it to the previous EMP and also the stuff that we saw in Blizzard World, this is like a step better. I don't know Arcalog. Without knowing their comms, you literally can't know. But again, I don't think that was the worst thing in the world. You know?
Someone just double back straight away. That's another unsuccessful EMP dive set up for the Los Angeles Gladiators. Charles having to get the rally.
Yeah, I'm telling you that objectively is not the worst Gladiator play dive that we've seen yet.
Someone just double back straight away.
What is bad though is that Gladiators are unable to like stabilize. Like this is like something that Dante has to do better at. Like Dante has to do better at disengaging here. Like he loses track of his supports. They should be able to kite this one out and survive it. The rally's still active. He's unable to do it. So this turns into, instead of a 1-for-1 ult trade, maybe forcing some chaos, instead it's 1-for-1 ult trade, and it forces the chaos and the fact that Gladiators lose here. Yeah, I'm more concerned about how Gladiators responded after that happened and Dante being unable to disengage.
Giant rally to be able to help bolster up the team's defenses at the perfect moment.
How did Glads win
are
this?
looking to
Someone?
at the perfect
Hello?
moment. And now,
What is he
rally to be able to
doing?
help play around that has been so pivotal.
This is a little bit of hubris from someone. He's going to jump in aggressive. He's going to bubble really late. Then get his primal force.
Very disruptive. Means the Gladiators can't.
Terrible from someone, y'all.
Very disruptive. Means the Gladiators.
Oh,
are looking
what?
approach this final objective. Look at the primal moment. And
Watch
now,
it, guys.
Florida
Manual hack. Tracer Pincer. RuPaul and Chorong are falling asleep at the wheel because they're so focused on their Winston feeding that they don't actually rotate to a better position. This is terrible. This is horrible from Florida. Huge mistake. Look, the on a brick push forward. It's over. Wow. Backline traded easy. Chorong should die 3-2-1. There it is. Dante, I'm surprised Dante even primals. I guess he gets kind of low there. Probably wasn't necessary, but yeah.
The Mayhem now have, but it's Kevster and Yaki this time able to get in there and find kills. Sans ultimate uses.
That was terrible from Mayhem. Yeah, definitely a little bit of just sloppiness, right?
Finally, the Gladiators have a chance now to start moving forward. with both support ultimates.
No, it isn't the worst problem. I don't think like it was 100% necessary, but like, you know, it's fine.
Deficit they're finding themselves in. They're going for the Kitsune rush. They really want to catch someone here. Look at it.
Weird.
They're well behind, if I'm honest with you. This is significant.
I mean, I'm fine with it. Blow up someone, I guess, just guarantee the fight win. The stick was good as well. I'm okay. It's a little bit of an expensive fight, but, you know, cart's moving. And you are going to get a little bit of a stagger here. I don't know why Checkmate blinks back that direction. And this is where like Glads hit their groove, guys. Like I don't know how to describe it. I don't even know how accurate it is, but you always have this feeling with some of these Western, hey Varashi, with some of these Western teams especially, not Western team, but there's like this Western culture of like this like confidence that kind of snowballs a little bit, where they just start like coming up with like these aggressive plans, and then they go, all right, go, you know, like I don't know how to describe it. It's like not strategic knowledge so much as just like everybody's on the same page because we're coming up with like a fight plan together. Glads have always struck me as a team that does this. Toronto, the current Toronto roster, has always struck me as a team that does this. I don't know. I don't know if I'm describing it well, but yeah. Wait, Merit swapped with Ultimate? Oh yeah, that's tough. That is an interesting decision. On an opportunity provided to him, right, so like Glads tend to snowball a little bit, right? Protect the back line either direction, you know, either in a negative sort of like you were saying, like a panic way, or whether like, you know, building up some confidence, you know. And that's not a Glad specific thing, but it does seem like Glads, a lot of the Glads don't necessarily have the same level of like structure to fall back on when things go poor. I'm completely just guessing here, but like the lows of the Glads are so atrocious. It feels like there's just nothing. There's no idea, you know, like there's no sense of like direction whatsoever, or any idea of like what we're supposed to be doing. When are we supposed to be diving? Like there's so many horrible, yeah. So the tough thing here, by the way, is that Gladiators have high ground, which is usually a huge advantage. But first off, you don't have lead, so you actually can't just stay here. You need to actually push. And the second thing is that the Kiriko Lucio doesn't really benefit that much from the high ground as much as like an Ana Brig does. So I'm curious to see how Gladiators take this fight. We might just see a beat engage on backline. It will be interesting. Florida was confident. They want to stop this out. They might get a stick on Dante here. You need to whittle down his armor. Oh! So Gladiators absolutely are looking for the beat engage. Look at this. So they're going to go... They're looking for the beat engage. You see the Lucio drops here, and you also see the hack on the Ana. So they're actually like looking for a pincer. You can also see Dante's slowly. You see Dante looks this direction. They're looking for an engage. But check it, ladies and gentlemen. Merit on the flank. Hacks Astro out of beat. Ooh, and now Glads are cooked, right? They're now like this looks reasonably set up, like they've able to close the distance here, but it's over. It's over. Because even if you're able to get a trade here, like even though you're like, oh, we're getting kills, like the push, the respawn advantage is tough, right? Did they even get capped? They did get capped, so they got that going for them. Oh wait, what? Oh my gosh, that is a huge play from Gladiators right there. Because I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, the kill there is massive, right? Now Mayhem are going to be able to get the Riki test really fast, and then the lead. But now, like, it's actually the Mayhem who are dying late now. Was that Kevster, guys? I don't know who that was. Somebody shot Checkmate from behind. Oh, it was Babel. Babel hits a headshot. Watch it. Bang. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Babel hits a headshot. And yeah, we don't even get to see what Kevster's working on the backline there, so that very easily could have gone very poorly, but Gladiators get a result that's equal to as, or if not better than what they were intending there. So that's huge. And now, like... Okay, Yaki, please don't EMP Winston. Please don't EMP Winston. Please don't EMP Winston.
I like that. Keep
That's a mistake. That's a mistake from Florida. Do you guys see it? I'm gonna let you guys sit for a second. Tell me what goofs up here. Because this is a not good EMP. Yeah. Look at the time. This is someone's mistake. Someone needs to be listening here. But look, RuPaul rotating, RuPaul rotating. Can't get it in time. He's... Oh. It's not a good EMP, guys. You see, this is why we can't be like results based, you know what I'm saying? Because that was not very intelligent from Yaki.
Yaki has another EMP.
Because Yaki should see that Ana is right here. You see this? RuPaul decides to late rotate. And Yaki is unbelievably lucky that this works out. Because they don't even have... See, the thing is like, even if you had an Ana here, this guy dies through nano because he gets naded, right? But there was no Ana.
I like that. Keep it simple.
Very fortunate. So the previous EMP, I was less angry at. This EMP is worse. Solo EMP in tanks is usually fine. But not now. Not when you don't have nade. Not when when the enemy team has nano. So that again, this was a bad EMP.
Just get someone. It's a guaranteed EMP, and Dante was already there for the other side of that pincer.
Nano break to catch. Will they be able to trade as a result?
In a position to actually do damage. It looks like the Gladiators are kind of happy just backing off here, letting Chorong stand out in the open.
Oh, Kevster, you can't get hacked like that, mate. Is that a nano range though? From here, I'm not sure. From here, yes. So
it looks like the Gladiators are kind of happy just backing off here, letting Chorong stand out in the open, lit up like a Christmas tree until that nano expires, and then the Glads go again.
I just don't see what the Gladiators see. This is just where the level of understanding just isn't there. You know, like, I just don't... You know that he has rally. So, you're not really going for the hard kill here. You're kind of going to zone these guys back and then focus on point or tracer, if anything. But Dante overextends outside bubble again, gets naded, slapped, and then dies with primal. Like, this is the kind of stuff you can't do. Like, you're gonna force a dive 5v4, okay, so actually finish the kill or bait the rally, then disengage. But Dante not only does not successfully get the kill, right, but he also dies. Yeah, agreed, Unito. And the other thing too as well is look at the setup from this as well. Yaki here. So then yet once again we have the Ana Brig are able to S-key kite out in one direction and not get pincered. Yaki's not predicting the rotations very well, and so he's getting kited out. Good defensive nade, good defensive rally, Dante freaking dies. Bash, sleep dart, CC combo. You're seeing that a lot actually in the Overwatch League where Winstons haven't adjusted to the new rally yet. They get kind of caught. So nice response from Mayhem there, despite someone's feed.
Take over the lead, and you only have a primal rage and a Kitsune rush right now to the
Babel turns to heal Kevster also, so no healer Suzu, right? And then Astra's diving in. Yeah, the Kevster hack was also a little bit on Kevster as well. I think you got to give some credit where credit is due. Like you can't be getting hacked there. Okay,
So this should be a fight one for the Mayhem, and that's going to put Gladiators even further onto
Ooh,
the back foot.
ugly positioning from Mayhem here. Going into this fight with Kitsune Rush and Primal,
So this
a
should
little bit of sloppy positioning from backline here. Like, this is a rare Mayhem L. Backline are not only split, but they're super far forward into a very close rotation. RuPaul gets hacked. Chorong is still rotating.
onto the back foot.
They do get the cut. Yaki finally gets the cut. They trade with EMP, though.
Mayhem, and that's going to put Gladiators even further onto the back foot to be able to take this map.
So there's the EMP. Where's the Suzu from Babel? Babel does not get Suzu'd and dies. So Babel fails to dodge EMP and ends up dying. Oh man, that was really poor from Mayhem. Both backlines really played that one poorly.
Mid-step while they're already fully committed to trying to dive on the Mayhem. Nicely done. And a great salvage of a fight. They could have gone wrong. You lost your honor at the start of that fight.
Call there from
But
for the
response.
Mayhem to
So,
real-
oh, checkmate get hacked.
That was a really great call there from
Yes, he
for the
does.
Mayhem to be a little
Unfortunate.
more patient,
You can't
but
see that. You can't have that.
Checkmate going down.
He
Means
got
that the
hacked, I think.
Gladiators are going to be able to come back with the early leads though as well from spawn.
It's a
Great stagger catch.
to secure the kill.
Huge mistake from both Chorong and Checkmate. I think Chorong needs to be giving that one up a lot faster. Mayhem have to respect that a lot more than they did.
He got hacked, I think.
The disengage is really slow. I don't even know if Chorong had Basher. He bashes way too late.
To secure the kill.
There's the Primal. That's honestly a fine Primal here. We can secure the stagger here. There's the stagger. The cart's still moving. And now Glads basically can almost guarantee a secure on the lead.
Two players set up and there's already a flank here. Check that high ground. Kev's is getting in position early for this fight.
To be fair, Gladiators have speed. Yeah. So there's an early Primal. They are really trying to defend the lead. They're trying to punish on someone.
For this fight.
Yaki gets the hack, but gets his locator force, so that's unfortunate. He's going to be out. There's Merit being cleared out. So there's a good stall from someone, honestly, all things considered, but now he should just die to Pulse. I'm surprised they don't go for the Pulse bomb on someone. Maybe it's because they track Nano.
Translocate there for Yaki crucially. But Yaki comes back with an EMP. Keep that in mind.
Must be because they track Nano.
Kevster, shaking for the window. No one there to pressure him down.
They zone backline. Winston's going to be focused. There's the beat? What is the beat for?
But Yaki comes back with an EMP.
Maybe just they're just calling like beat push. Yeah, Dante gets hacked as well, so the beat does get value. The nade on Chorong is there. Chorong also bashes out. They just need to focus point. Merit freaking dies. Does he get hacked or does his translocator get hunted?
Nano for someone.
He might. It looks like something happens off screen in terms of he gets hunted. The Nano Winston needs to be there. There's the Nano Winston. They hit the pulse.
Down as an EMP for the Gladiators. It's
But he's on Astro, who might die here.
this here. Pulse bomb connects to Chorong. And the Gladiators can do no wrong right
How do Gladiators are fine, right?
in the round. They win the most important fight of the series. And they are
Okay,
ahead
so
now.
oh, there's 10 seconds. Okay, so they should be able to get touch. RuPaul probably needs to go
Looks here
Lucio.
for the Gladiators, maybe
Or
going to
Kiriko.
map number 5 with the
Yeah.
Florida Mayhem. They're able to come
Merit should
back.
get touch.
Someone should be able to touch the checkpoint if it's not Merit first, and then Checky gets to come in. What they
excuse
did touch. Point if it's not Merit first, they're able to come back. Someone should be able to touch the checkpoint if it's
Does he just not?
Merit
No, he has to touch.
first,
Like,
and then Checky gets to come in. What they did touch.
like, how do you not
If
know
it's
this?
Not Merit first, able to come back.
This is what happens when you make hit scan players use their brain.
Not Merit first, and then Checky gets to come in. What they did touch the checkpoint if it's not Merit first. and
Jeez,
then
man.
Checky
Like, this fight was like,
should be able to touch the checkpoint if it's not Merit.
I mean, it was winnable, guys. Like, Chorong's coming in there with Rally. Checkmate would have been able to get the second touch afterwards, and would have been able to stall for quite a long time. Monkey would have had jump briefly. I mean, this is a win. This is very winnable. This is a very winnable. It would have been ugly, but it was a winnable map. Merit touches, then Checkmate touches, then Checkmate stalls, then Chorong's can get touch afterwards. Someone gets next touch. We have an active rally. I mean, we've seen crazier things. There's some C9s where it's like, you know, this fight was lost. This one, I don't know. This one could have gone either way. Okay, well, I mean, I don't know exactly what I want to say about that map. What a very messy map. Some really, really crucial mechanical mistakes from someone. Some goofy goof ups from the backline. I mean, someone honestly trolled that map. Like the thing with push is you can't. It's all about the timely errors, right? Checkmate gets hacked and dies, then Chorong gets staggered afterwards. That buys like 30 seconds. Like that buys them. That gives them essentially the lead, right? Before that, someone wastes primal, backline gets traded, costs them the entire lead there, or that entire push there. After that, someone dies to freaking solo EMP. Another situation where a lot of free push is given up. Why don't people go SIG on maps like Havana Junkertown anymore? It's mostly to do with the DPS. It's the DPS meta that's stronger. It's not that Sigma is bad necessarily. It's just that the DPS meta isn't very favorable to Sigma. Like, Sigma's fine, but the problem is that at the pro level, Sombra and Tracer and Kiriko and stuff are not Kiriko and stuff, but like Sombra Tracer are too good. Hit scan weak. Yeah, I know everyone's like, oh, you know, I hate hit scan, but at least in the pro level, hit scan is kind of weak right now.
Of these points.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Mayhem looked pretty messy, that map. Okay, so Mayhem looked awful on this composition in the Shambala. They had no idea what they were doing. These guys looked pretty good. But these guys looked pretty darn good on the Koth round, which is what we see here, so I don't know. We'll see. Check before I started this review. I looked it over.
And this is a good one. We're heading over to Icebreaker right now. And with
so obviously Moira Reaper May means that you instantly win this high ground. This composition isn't going to try to win this choke. It's just you're not going to win it with Bap Sojourn versus Moira Reaper. So Mayhem are going to try to close the gap. But the danger here is that theoretically, it should be easier for Kevster and Laster to take sightlines on this back high ground. Not even high ground, but this back angle to get pressure on point. So I actually like Gladiators positioning here. And unless something screws up, I actually feel like Gladiators have a slight advantage in this matchup and this current rotation. There's another one of those wall trades where like they just kind of use it just to try and prevent them from pressing W. There's not really a split there. So what do Mayhem do? What do Mayhem do? What do Mayhem do? Do they try to do a weird rotate? They don't take damage. They do a really good job not taking damage. The wall there is pretty good. Like, okay, what happens here? So Yaki doesn't get his ice block force. They force Wraith early. The wall is okay. I mean, it kind of funnels him into a choke. It forces Chorong back. The wall on Dante is fine. Kevster swings wide. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if Kevster fed with his shift or not, but that is a huge misplay from Kevster if so. That should not have happened. I think if you look at that trade right there, I think Gladiators are pretty happy with that, but something goes terribly wrong in the water. I don't know what happened there. They had the setup that they wanted, and they somehow fumbled it. He must have slid at the angle, and they rushed him down. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But that was a like I think the only thing I could say that went really badly for Glads is this wall on Dante is pretty brutal. Maybe Dante needed to play this one a little bit smarter, but he gets caught right here, and then look at his HP, right? He gets chunked, right? So maybe that's the only thing that was a little bit hairy, but even then it's not that bad. It doesn't even cost them lamp. So without looking at like anything else there, I think that cooldown trade could have and should have gone Gladiator's way, but Kevster honestly feeds. Should maybe playing stack with Ram? No. Your job is to prevent the look at what Yaki does from being split. If he's stacked with Ram, someone checkmate Merit, run him over. He's off-angled here. He prevents the Reaper from pushing. Look at this. He just forces Wraith by himself. And he walls off to help his Ram stay alive. And he doesn't get his Ice Block force, so he's still aggressive. And he's able to keep hitting Icicles and keep doing damage. He still gets the Maywall he wants without being stacked on Ram. The only reason you should stack with Ram is if stacking with Ram is the only way that you get the Maywall that you want.
from inside that ice encasement. What we
Even freaking May taking off angles, yo.
You don't want to give Gladiators the opportunity.
So Mayhem kind of cheats that one, and that one's big too, because the key thing about this matchup, especially in Koth with the shorter sightlines, is that this ult is way better than it has any right to be on this particular point. There's not going to be a lot of space to hit a BAP window, even if you are to rotate coast. It's going to be pretty easy for them to stack up. So it's where the Moira first ult advantage is a little bit more important than it would be in other maps. So you're probably going to see Mayhem just go 3-2-1, run it down, yeah. Now the question is do they pull it too quick? Because Lastro is playing back. Kevster still has his slide. Where is Yaki's wall? Does Yaki wall the ram? I imagine the answer is yes. I don't see the wall. They do wall the ram, or try to, and that might be... No, they kite it out. That's a really good kiting from Glads there. Costs lamp, but it's good. Now Mayhem is going to try and pop. Now this is cute. Mayhem knows that Gladiator's going to try to do the rubber band thing, right? Bounce right back, but technically Gladiators don't have any cooldowns yet. They only have the window. So Mayhem goes right back, runs in with an Nemesis form. Wow. That's good. Even with the Blizzard there, that's really, really good from Mayhem right there. That was high level team play right there.
That's a good strategy.
No, you're not. No, you wouldn't stack on May. No. No, you wouldn't. Just because you're playing a Lucio Moira rush comp doesn't mean you take angles. Your optimal rush, in fact, is stacking here. Reaper is able to take a short angle, and May takes a slide off angle to get a wall on Ram. I mean, you can stack with Ramattra, but you don't have to. The only weakness about May splitting is that it's a little bit harder for Moira to heal you. But this is about like as niche of a circumstance as possible, and even then it's not perfect. But that was great. Gladiators swap.
You can see that Gladiators are now going to try to match Mayhem with the Reaper and the
Interesting.
Moira too. So going for more of that survivability, and this is not a look we've really seen from
I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know how good Kevster's Reaper is.
That's my thing. I'm the Reaper guy.
See, they're trying to take off angles there. There's the Blizzard. Merit marks the off angle. They walk through the choke. See, this is the mistake here. I actually don't think it makes sense for Gladiators to do this rotation. Hear me out. Why should Gladiators not do this rotation? It's a mirror, right? It's a mirror, right? So they have the Moira and the May and the Reaper, right? But why? Well, beat for beat. May ult for, let's say, Ramattra ult, right? And then they still have an advantage in the old economy. You're running into a choke where every single one of the ultimates of Mayhem is going to be powerful. I would rather go coast and like create a little bit more open space, room to kite and play around one of their ultimates. Yeah, it's ugly. It's just 3-2-1 wall freeze. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't even freeze earlier, honestly. And yeah, the beat is late. I don't know if that's just because they're used to the BAP sustain and the lamp and then the beat. But this is a disaster for Gladiators, right? Ooh, checkmate for someone. But yeah, it's over. It's over. It's, as the kids say, over. Wait, no way Yaki gets out alive. No way. No, he doesn't get out alive. Okay. So a neutral rotating this way is fine. I mean, it's okay. But you still have give the enemy, like the defender's May wall advantage is still pretty significant, right? So I don't even know if in a neutral it makes sense because they always will have the better May wall, and that's going to be it right there. Okay, this is it, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on to your butt cheeks. Here we go. So they open Reaper May. They're going to open co-side. Now, the reason why they don't open here, anyone want to guess why these teams don't open here? Here's a question for you. What happens if Gladiators roll out on BAP, Sojourn, and you roll out here? Yeah, you get spammed. you get a lot of damage before you can close the distance. Your Reaper Moira does jack all, and you got to walk the gauntlet before you even get here. This has cover. So both teams, I don't know if this is on purpose from Glads, because this honestly feels like a last-second rotation from Glads, but at least you can cut the sight line short by doing this rotation. Have I ever killed anybody, Spilo? Don't ask me questions I shouldn't be answering. So early wall, both teams, they're okay. The Mayhem wall is better because this one has a gap. So the checkmate wall clears Yaki wall by just a little bit. And that's going to put them in a cooldown disadvantage because they're going to be able to rotate around, get a fat E. Checkmate does not get his ice block forced. Yaki does. Lastro's MIA, basically playing ping pong from back side to side. So that's unfortunate. And Yaki should freaking die. He does, and that's the first fight win. So wall advantage forces a really nasty resource split. Let's look at the Reaper play here as well. Reapers are both late. Reaper breaking through wall. Reaper. Merit's just able to get through there. Why is Merit there so much faster? Okay, he gets Lucio speed. That's the difference. I think he also uses Wraith as well. So look at the difference in the Reapers here. Again, I want to highlight the wall difference. Oh my gosh, gifted sub. The Spilo Blue Ridge. Oh, I thought you said Ruby Ridge incident. But the Reaper, because of the Maywall, is able to get there faster, and he also gets Lucio speed. So then Merit is able to walk on Yaki, and that's ultimately what does force the ice block in addition with the better Maywall. So, yeah, little things, yeah.
And at this critical juncture, Lastro's got to fade away, leaving Yaki all on his own. He's quickly
that's a tough Maywall advantage, speeding your Reaper in tighter as well. It's not even necessarily Kevster's fault. He's just unable to do anything before the fight even is over. What? Whoopsies. Don't love to see that. I don't know what happened there. Ooh, this is ugly.
That'll take a little bit of time for the Florida Mayhem to get online.
Ruby Ridge, I don't know who that is. Bro, what do you expect? These guys are products of the American public school system.
Someone was making a beeline for him there, so Mayhem making sure everybody gets out alive. And they're off to a good start. And look, they just want the Gladiators.
So a little bit of a jukies from Gladiators. They're going to force point. There's the damage orb. RuPaul hits his Cole first. And you're going to notice here that really the target priority... Now, anyone want to guess who the target priorities in these compositions are? You're a fan of Waco, personally? How do you know about that? They went to the prestigious ISU. Yes, I heard they studied really hard. Target priorities. Yeah. So Lucio is technically like the most killable target, so you're not wrong, but it's like he's harder to kill. Let's put it this way. Lucio is the easiest to kill outright because he doesn't have the defensive cooldown, but he's more slippery. So usually May and Reaper. You guys want to hear a true story? I'm gonna a small tangent. Little baby tangent, okay? There was a team phase 2 that I coached back in 2019. And all right, and we were in like this major stacked region, and we had, I mean, do any of these names stand out to you guys? Tanner from high school, Sox, Buck, Salt Shaker, some of you guys might know, Lep, Nishik, Don, back when he was super toxic, Pika, I don't even know if you guys remember Pika, A10, I coached A10. Yeah, anyway, long story short, we were the year previous to them, they were terrible. I came on and I brought my good friend Temporal, and obviously we were just the GOAT. And so we actually made it all the way into playoffs, and we came one game away from qualifying for Korea versus all these stacked, like these teams are stacked, right? Anyway, long story short, I mean, it was a great season. Like I feel like I did some good work coaching. The players really stepped up. Long story short, so we were the innovators. This and our academy team phase 1 of May Reaper. And basically what happened is there was a game where Don's internet, you guys remember Don? He lost internet. Dutch internet just turned off. So what happened is we're playing not phase one, square one, and we're one map away from winning the series. And A10 says, Spilo, trust me, put Salt Shaker in on Rhine. We can go goats. We can beat them. I will micromanage Salt Shaker. Trust me, I will carry. And A10 is like super chill, smart guy. Love him. Loved coaching him. And so I said, all right, Alex, get out there. And we lost the map. But we came one team fight away from beating square one and goats. Because A10 like freaking deadlifted his socks off. I mean, Salt Shaker was the Orisa OTP back way in the days when she was trash. And Goatsman, the guy who would OTP in Orisa. So anyway, we gave it a shot. We almost did it with Salt Shaker on Rhine, which was an insane deadlift by A10. And Salt Shaker says, hey coach, do you trust me? And I said, Salt Shaker, Juan, I think his name's Juan. He still texts me like once every 6 months. I do trust you. Go for it. This is in hard goats meta, guys. So we roll out Nepal. And we run Orisa, May, Reaper. And I want to say, yeah, Orisa, May, Reaper, Torbjorn, Bap Lucio. Orisa, May, Reaper, Torbjorn, Bap Lucio. And we won the map. Versus goats. And what that did, and now here's what you guys don't even know. Here's what you guys don't even know. We almost beat, these guys were powerhouses. We almost beat Atlanta Academy on Paris running the same comp. We almost beat them running the same comp in a match. I got a message from these guys being like, wow, you guys were like actually hard, like your innovation. This was back when Gator was playing. Now, this is the crazy part, because we were exposing how strong these DPS were. So guess what happened as soon as DPS, guess what happened as soon as the 2-2-2 lock filled in? Guess what meta we went right into? Orisa, May, Reaper. And guess who popped off in the Orisa, May, Reaper composition once it came playoffs? We did. And all of this tying back to our current thing here, the reason that we carried is we only had like a week to prep for the match. And so the only thing that we practiced was socks on Reaper, or no, socks on May with A10 on Reaper, calling cooldowns of the enemy May, Reaper, Orisa, and cycling our target focus. We would focus Orisa, fortify, May, ice block, Reaper, Wraith, back to Orisa and kill her. And our target focus, we literally didn't even talk about angles. We just talked about target focus and timing. And because we only had a week to prep, it was like a cheat code. And we did really, really, really well. Just basically off of quick target, target. Yeah. And so, you know, with everybody just on the same target, and the reason why this all ties into that is because that's kind of what this composition needs. Is like, you talk about target priority, you go May, but you only go May to force or ice block, then you immediately turn your attention to Reaper, you force the Reaper, then you go back to Ramattra, force them to block, and you go back to the May, and it's kind of like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're seeing here, and when we get things like Coalescence here, he needs to find the Reaper in May. They need to find that target quickly. And so you see ice block here. I promise you we're going to see some pressure on checkmate right now. And you need to. Will we? Yes, we do. In fact, he has to wall himself to stay alive. They get the freeze. Dante pops ult. There's the ult in response. And really the key thing here is we see ults traded from both sides, but Yaki isn't anywhere near close to building. Isn't anywhere near close to building his mail. I want to see if there's anything else that we can see in the neutral. This is the last fight, so we might as well. So we started the May Reaper. Yes, we started the May Reaper. We innovated the May Reaper. We were the first team, to my knowledge. We played it in Goats meta multiple times, found a lot of success with it. We pulled those at G's, yes. So my fault. Actually, it's only partially my fault. I gave it the green light, but it wasn't my brainchild. I was the head coach, but I wasn't the strategic coach into the team that came up with it.
Spots. They have to take the low ground here, or they have to push into a choke.
So off of a cooldown disadvantage, the May wall is not great from Yaki. DANTEH pops a little bit of an early ultimate. Checkmate walls it off. Then the Blizzard is fat. That forces a Wraith. Where is Kevster doing this? I'm sorry, chat. It's actually like... Yeah, it's honestly just a really bad May wall from Yaki. Like, let's put it this way. If they knew that they were popping this, and they get a May wall right here, they force Wraith, and they force block. I think this is just a really bad May wall from Yaki. Because that completely shuts down Kevster's ability to walk forward. Kevster also walks forward and then has to Wraith out. DANTEH gets booped back into the Blizzard and ends up dying. Yaki doesn't build his... So the first fight goes really poorly. Yaki's unable to build the ultimate. The wall is also bad from Yaki. I don't want to like overthink that one too much, but yeah. Wait, he's in it? What are your thoughts on RuPaul's positioning? Yeah, I mean, RuPaul kind of trolls there, for sure. Because I don't think they were expecting the DANTEH ult there. Wait, does Glastro use Cole? How am I just now seeing this? Oh man, bro, they just lit him up. Like, I'm not to be like not to cop out here, but you can blame a little bit of that. Like it really might just be as simple as a bad Yaki wall and Mayhem's target focus just being like brilliant. Like they wanted blood, which is like a little detail, but I literally just told you how he like literally beat teams that we had no business beating because of our target focus and like that little things like that, right? Like DANTEH should live that, right? But they didn't, right? So I don't even know that it was necessarily a bad call, you know? Like I think that's a little bit hindsighty, you know? I think if anything, Gladiators just don't look as cohesive on this composition, right? You know, the May walls from Yaki, he's had 2 inferior May walls in a row. Yeah. I will say this kind of stuff makes me want to weep. This is we've talked a lot about like how Kevster Reaper not really been an issue. It's just been. This can't happen though. This is stupid. Why are you pushing in front of your team? Instantly Wraith forced. They almost catch him with May wall, and then now like he's down the cooldown in case they were to push. So it doesn't really end up mattering, but he could have gotten caught for that. Yeah. But I also think it's like, we will see how this map plays out, but so far, you can't tell me that Lastro is trolling on Moira, at least from what we've seen. You can't. And you also can't tell me that Kevster is trolling on Reaper yet. Although after that last fight, I'm a little bit on the mend, you know?
Just go into the back line here, wait for it, the Gladiators to walk in, or just go in their face.
Oh, okay. Kevster goes for it first. So Merritt, it's a sound barrier here. So
In Merritt could just go into the back line here, wait for it, the Gladiators to walk in, or just go in their face. Go into the back line.
I take that back. Kevster's trolling. What's the mistake, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, by the way, fun fact, Checkmate's already 88% to another ice wall. So watch Checkmate's ult charge. Just watch it. Seriously, watch this guy. Watch this.
Oh, that is a very bad omen. It is an ill omen for the rest of this map here.
Watch it. 37, 46, 57. These are headshots, by the way. 62. 65, that's a body shot. 70, that's a headshot. 74, body shot. I mean, he's not missing a shot. He does get his ice block forced early, though. This is the weakness of the Moira, right? Like, you can't be in two places at once. So they see the ice block here. But right, yeah, the problem with the Death Blossom is he goes before the cooldowns are forced. Reaper Death Blossom, you hear me out, is one of the best ultimates in the game if the stars are aligned. You guys saw it in the grand finals last season, right? If there are no cooldowns available, it kills everybody. But every cooldown, Ramattra block, boop, fade, ice block, ice wall, fade, wraith, everything counters it. So I don't know what he sees here. They might have seen ice block, but he misses it entirely and doesn't even hit the May. But also, if you're Gladiators here, you need to be way more aggressively pushing this while you blizzard this. You see this? This is where, like, you can break this down into like mechanical misplays, but it's really not. It's just not as good team play. I mean, someone definitely needs to be able to kite this one out. But wait, what happens to Chorong here? Mayhem fumbles the bag here too. Again, double support ult used. The blizzard isn't countered. This is where like the Reaper like really comes into play, like the damage. The boop is there, but he doesn't have information. So they do get the kill though. Honestly, guys, they just did not expect them to have blizzard that fast. That's all it really is, right? But it doesn't end up mattering that much. So rare L from someone being able to dodge that. But honestly, it's not even that. It's more on the fact that someone is probably dead, and Chorong gets frozen, which is unnecessary, and RuPaul layers this. What you should be doing instead is let freaking someone die, push afterwards with Cole, try to clean them up after they've used cooldowns. You know? Ramattra guide win? I don't know. Maybe. So nice boot from Astro. But also, like, you know, I think, like, poor Death Blossom 1. Poor Death Blossom 2. Not great support ult usage from RuPaul there. And Checkmate gets his ice block forced too early while he's greeting on the flank. That's the big takeaways. But what are we going to do now? Are we going to say RuPaul's trolling on Moira as well?
Okay, and Funny Astro has the sound barrier this time around as well to be able to hold on to. So
yeah, using Death Blossom and Blizzard at the same time was interesting.
Control of this point. There's nothing online for the Mayhem here. So as long as somebody doesn't get picked off in the Gladiators, they should be able to keep control for now.
Merritt's 10-1.
So by the way, notice what Chorong's doing. The Lucios are here, by the way, dueling each other because the Reaper off angle onto the enemy Ramattra is like a lot of damage, right? If you were to push, you like establish the flank. So both Reapers are marking each other, and Lucio Boop is like really Lucio damage and Lucio Boop is like super impactful in the Reaper trade. So that's why you're seeing both Lucios here.
For now.
Cool little micro trade. Chorong is dating the worst of it for sure, so he needs to be careful. So he has to end up disengaging.
Control for now.
Merit or Checkmate is trying to save wall. He's actually on the flank over here. Be able to disengage. That forces an early. Merit gets caught on wall, so that's a little bit clunky there. They need to ice. The ice wall is really bad from Checkmate. The ice wall is terrible. The ice wall needed to be like, if anything, honestly, just here. You're on the back foot. Just ice wall, reset, disengage. But then they're all going to be dead. So yeah. So Mayhem really fumbled the bag with that one. Chorong loses the angle. Checkmate takes an angle, doesn't get good value out of it, misses the ice wall, and they mess up the disengage.
Gladiators still have their work cut out for them. They didn't have to blow the sound barrier in that last fight, so that's another tool in their arsenal to be able to contest with Florida Mayhem's.
Yeah, that annihilation was super easy.
Ready to go with that on top of a coalescence from RuPaul also coming up very quickly. So tons of sustain, and it'll be very hard to take someone down. So the sound barrier going to be pivotal in this next fight for the Gladiators.
Ultimate fight here. We probably see a Cole engage, maybe force a beat, then counter with an annihilation. And as long as Mayhem are able to hang on to their cooldowns into the beat engage, they should be fine. The Blizzard is a little bit of a concern, though, from Yaki. So let's see. They force point. There's the Cole. They're actually going to combo both immediately, which is really weird. They force the ice block early, which is really important because now Yaki, who's the main threat, you notice, by the way, where this Cole is aimed at. Again, it's not a mystery. It's immediately locked onto that May. It's locked onto the Reaper. You gets both cooldowns. By the way, Merit timing this at the same time. They get both of this is it. Like you can look at this and be like, Mayhem probably win this fight. But Astro, the legend that he is, hits the beat as soon as these guys exit. Now RuPaul has to fade out, and then they counter with Blizzard. Someone is frozen, and they counter right back. Mid-fight Death Blossom from Merit. He gets a little bit of Lucio speed. It could really go either way right now, but the Ramatra's alive, so they're probably going to disengage that. Very nice beat from Astro, mate. That was good. That was really good. What was odd to me was the combo of the ultimates here. I would have preferred to have seen an aggressive push here with Cole, and then maybe the Ramattra ultimate channeled now, if anything. Also, it's worth noting that the Ramatras have not been able to dodge a Blizzard. That's credit to the Maze to an extent, but also enough perma-nemesis should mean that there's at least a dice roll about whether you're hit or not, and every single time we've seen Annihilation countered by Blizzard, which is a bit of a problem.
Oh my goodness, this is not looking good now for the Mayhem, actually. So Gladiators, there might be able to
Mayhem layer ultimates. Someone's ultimate is almost irrelevant entirely. He gets frozen, and yeah. Was Lastro Cole needed? I keep missing these Coles. Probably not, no. But also, it was used while the fight was still going, so probably so. My question, the real question here is, when was this ice block enforced, Wraith forced? So both cooldowns at around 127.10. Forced finally to part with that sound barrier. He held on to it for a long time, and perfect timing for it to come out here. Yeah, I don't know if they had these cooldowns back again. But obviously the question is did they have these, would they have had these cooldowns? Like, it's close. Like, he caught it at like maybe the second right before they get ice block and Wraith. But obviously both of those kills feel a little bit bad. Get ready.
They might be able to do it. They want control.
Mayhem should win this fight, though.
To bring us to a round 3 on Antarctic Peninsula.
What you might see from Gladiators is one of two things. Whenever you're at a disadvantage, you either do one of two things. You either run it down, focus the Lucio, focus the, whatever, and just let it rip, right? Even though there's still cooldowns, you try to focus down the Lucio and let it kill. Or you play really, really slowly, look the wall off, disengage, look to survive, keep kite, anything. There's not a lot of pop-off potential in this composition because the mechanical, like, there's no headshot, one-shot headshot besides, like, May. So you're going to see, in fights where one team has an ultimate advantage, it's a lot harder to, like, overcome. So they're looking for May, they're looking for Reaper. Can we find a way to force this ult? Let's beat N. They're going to focus May. There's the Ice Block. There's the Blizzard. There's the catch with Reaper ult. Honestly, really not smooth from Mayhem there. Like, there's a little bit of a panic here. The wall from Checkmate is no bueno. The speed in, they forced the Ice Block early. Was that deserved? Yes, he was very low. Death Blossom by Kepser is honestly not too bad. Probably could have waited a little bit longer before he did it. But honestly, not the worst result in the history of the world for Glads. 2 for 1, and 2 very important ultimates with Beat and Blizzard. Just used for Death Blossom. My only problem there is that, like, maybe Kepser should not even use the ultimate at all and just come into this fight with it. Yaki's going to go Sombra, what I assume is to touch.
There's one more fight on the line here for the Mayhem. If they win this next one, they're going to the mid-season. RuPaul has that coalescence, and we're going to see a quick panic pick from Yaki.
He gets his translocator destroyed. Oh, no.
And it's going to be RuPaul as a great...
There's the rush out. They immediately Nemesis form out. That's going to force... What is that going to force? Sombra has to disengage because she doesn't have the defensive cooldown. He doesn't really force anything with this, right? The Sombra messing up the touch causes a little bit of a panic, and they're not able to force... They do force Wraith. They do force Wraith. So that's good. DANTEH can keep the Reaper honest. And Gladiators are able to stabilize, kind of, sort of. There's the pursuit, but Dante overextends past, and he's gonna die for it.
That's really the only way you can shut RuPaul down, and Cold is the only thing that protects the Mayhem from this annihilation right now.
Yeah, he just gets greedy. He
Gets
a little bit greedy. And then they're unable to pocket him. He gets a nice boop, or they get a nice boop from Chorong, who wraps around behind and boops him out into the open. And then they're going to finish the kill off of that. There's the beat. They need to lock down the Reaper or somebody. They're unable to. Mare is able to Death Blossom. He gets traded out. The Cole is huge. Yaki needs to survive. Yaki cannot be dying on this hero. I don't know where his translocator is, but he's dying again. There's a huge punch. Man, and they're so close to ults, too. Oh, that is brutal. Did they find it again?
Los Angeles Gladiators averting the reverse sweep, showing true grit and determination. We'll see you in South Korea.
Wow.
What a heartbreaking loss for the Gladiators, though. Oh, such
I mean,
range of emotion happening on screen right now. You can't help but feel bad knowing
good for the Mayhem. I mean, they're clearly the better dive team. The question for me is, it's like,
they looked great on those first two maps, and they made some quick adjustments on that final map of Antarctic Peninsula to be able
I mean,
to
the Mayhem just had slightly better ult trades, like slightly better ult trades. I don't think there was like a huge gap in the execution outside of the last round, where they just took really bad pathing from Gladiators to kind of hand them the fight win. But I don't think there was a major gap between these executions in terms of like the Brawl comps. I feel like the moments Glad swapped the mirror, it was over. I don't think so. Not the I mean, come on, guys. There's a 99 to 99. What do you guys like? I mean, that could have gone either way. And this was a really bad first fight from Gladiators too. Like like they actually the reason why that's important is because they also lost the next fight because their first fight was so bad, because they didn't have a near enough ult economy here. I mean, I think Glads did remarkably well on this matchup. I think they swapped it was over when they swapped in the mirror in the previous round because they're brain dead rotations through the choke. But I didn't think there was a massive gap in here.